What is up? It's Metalheads Unite back at our regularly scheduled time.
Yeah, it's actually weird being back on a Friday.
It's like, oh, who's these guys? What are they doing?
Yeah. Yeah, last week it was a Friday night, or last week it was a Saturday night. The week before that it was a Saturday morning. So I mean, we've been all over the place the last few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we did the Friday night thing to get to work around our work schedules better, but it seems like the last 2 weeks said no, fuck
Yeah.
that. Uh, but hey, we
Yep.
had time though, so I mean,
Oh, it was definitely for good reason, having eradicated on 2 weeks ago and then being able to have another live remote broadcast from Dana's birthday party, which was so much fun. It was so fun.
yeah, it's a good
Had
day.
a great had a great time. So it was definitely worth it. So,
It was,
but it is.
and I felt like there was music there for every metalhead. It was
I think so.
it wasn't just you know deathcore or there was hard rock bands there. There was a deathcore band there, I guess. But
Yeah. So I mean, there wasn't. I wouldn't say there was necessarily a band that was straight up thrash, but I mean it was a very diverse bill. So I mean it was good. And then Symptom of the Universe, they had, of course, they had to fill in for Chunder, which thankfully they were able to do that. And I hope the guy, let's see, look, there's the cat right there. Look at him, nosy little fuck. Look at him. I don't know what he's trying to get at, but look at him. But
ooh,
anyway,
he's trying to
so
get a new co-host job or something.
yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but so yeah, I hope the guy in Chunder who hurt his back, he can kind of feels better and gets back up and moving around and everything. But thankfully, Symptom of the Universe was able to step in. They were the Black Sabbath tribute band, so I mean they put on a good set. Of course, like I said at the time, I was a little surprised they didn't play Iron Man and Paranoid, so I was kind of
Yeah, yeah.
kind of surprised, not really strange, but kind of surprising more than anything, but yeah, it was a good bill, and I mean, you really couldn't argue with the fact that it was only $10. I mean,
That's true.
you're never going to be able to argue with that fact.
Unless you're the drunk girl that got through out second song of the night.
Hey, that's her own damn problem.
that
That's her problem. So
was wild.
that was actually pretty funny because I kind of saw it happen, but then when Dana told me about it, and then he sent us the clip of the video, I was just like, oh, it's still. It was pretty crazy. But I mean, you
So
gotta.
I've seen that before, but not live and in living color.
Right, yeah. So
Not like
hey,
not a local show. I guess is what I should say. I've seen them carry people out like that at Starwood a lot, back in the day. But
oh yeah, 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 absolutely, without a doubt. But yeah, that was a good time. So, and we'll talk a little later in the show about this, but we've also got some special guests coming on
yeah,
in the very very near future. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show. So definitely want to let everybody know about that going on. We're coming up towards the excuse me, got tongue tied. Coming up towards the end of our third full year. That is bonkers.
yeah, that's crazy.
Just about to roll into year number 4. And we're going to be going out the right way. We're going to be going out with a bang. A head bang, if you will. So
Uh,
no better way to do it.
oh, there it is. Well, why is the podcast not showing up on YouTube? What the fuck?
Is
That's
it
where
there? Is it there now?
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Okay.
it was just hidden, I guess, in the show or something. I
Let me
always
make
that's what I always watch just to
let me make sure it's
make
actually
sure
up on.
things.
Let me make sure it's up on X too. And it is. We are live on X again this week. So yeah, we're good. So yeah, so I guess, I mean, I was going to talk about this at the end of the show, like we always do, talk about where you can find us and everything. So I guess since I brought it up, we'll talk about it now. We are back on X, so we're we are live on X right now. The Metalhead Minute is over there. So if you guys ever wanted to follow us over there, you can do that. So we will be more active on X now. Because for a while there, we kind of got away from it because we didn't really know if it made sense because they weren't letting me post the Metalhead Minute over there.
Right.
And I last week during Dana's birthday party, I figured out how to get us hooked back up to X. So last week was our first live stream back on X in at least 8 or 9 months because we used to be live on X back when we were on our old platform. That was one of our destinations we went to. But then when we went on our own, we kind of got away from it. And of course, it was still Twitter back then. Now it's X. But it seems like now that it has changed over, there's certain things that we can do now that we couldn't before. Like the Metalhead Minute is a perfect example. It used to be that they wouldn't let you post a video clip longer than 30 seconds. And obviously the Metalhead Minute is anywhere from like a minute and a half to 2.5 minutes long with all the talking that I do. So it didn't really make sense to post like a 30-minute clip of a minute and a half to 2 minute video. So it's like, well, screw it. I'm not going to put it over there. And then this, a couple nights ago when I was posting, it's like, I'm going to try it again just to see. And it worked and it went through. So it's like, okay, I can put the minute on there. Last week we realized we could, live stream to X again. So we're back up and running over there too. So it's kind of nice. So if you guys want to follow us over there, we will be more active over there. I promise you.
I tell you, like being gone like on a different thing for 2 weeks really screwed me up, man. It's like I was like going through birthdays, and I think I did like uh I started out and I was just like, man, this don't look right. I got to like looking, I said, I think I did that birthday already. I got to looking at the calendar. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm all fucked up." I was going back to like 16th for some reason, and I was like, "Okay, I was going I was going to have like 3 extra days worth of birthdays in here or
Yeah,
something."
well,
Uh,
I mean, in the grand
which I mean, could have covered some from last week if I wanted to, I guess.
Yeah, in the grand
But
scheme of things, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But it's it's better to repeat a couple of things than to completely miss something. So I mean, if there's
that is
every now and then, if like I actually worry about that every now and then with the hit in the road segment, because every now and then, because not every one of our outlets posts concert announcements on the same day. Like, because if you guys have watched the show before, the prp.com is where I get the bulk of my concert announcements. So I'll see one day and I'll put it on the list in preparation for the show. And and this has happened to me a couple times before. During like the next week, I'll start like as soon as this show is over, I start prepping for the next show just to make sure that I don't fall behind and have to cram and everything else. So like tomorrow, I'll start prepping for the next week's show. And if I'm not paying close enough attention, I'll come across one and be like, did I already talk about this? Did I not talk about this? So there's been a couple of times where it's like I couldn't remember if I did one or didn't do one. And I was like, screw it, I'm gonna add it just in case. And like I'll start doing the actual segment and it'll pop into my head. It's like, I think I'm pretty sure I already did that one. So they may just have heard it twice. So I figure I err on the side of caution and be like,
right.
I'd rather tell them again than like if there's a fan of a band that misses the announcement. I would rather tell them twice than not tell them at all, especially if there's a tour coming up of a fan of any band, whether it's one of the newer bands that we decide to focus on, or even if it's like a bigger name band, so I'd rather double up than miss it completely. So
True. All right. Well, guess we will dive into this thing.
no lifeguards here.
Get rocking and rolling. No,
Nope, no lifeguards.
dive at
Swim at your own risk.
All right. I guess we'll kick off with some birthdays like usual here. This one goes from the 18th through the 24th. So, and man, like you talking about a star-studded list of birthdays, man.
Mm-hmm.
I kept like writing this down. Like, no fucking way. There's this many like big name people having birthdays. So, if you want your kid to be a mega star, I guess, or a good chance of it being a heavy metal star, just start preparing around February or January.
Yeah, it would be very late January and into
Yeah.
February if you want to go the full 40 week term.
Yeah. You want to give birth to the next metalhead. There you go. You have your time frame.
Yep.
And please hurry up and get to work. We need to carry this on us.
we do. Or you got a couple months to wait. So I mean, we're at the you can wait until hell. Well, that's what I'm saying. It makes sense because Valentine's Day is in February. So here
That's
we
true.
are. So I mean,
Yeah, that is true.
it does make sense.
All right, we'll kick this thing off here. On November 18th, we had Herman Rarebell, a drummer and lyricist for Scorpions from 77 to 95, until, Mickey D came along.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had somebody too. Was it Herman's that he took? I couldn't remember.
I would have to look up the chain of the chain of events, the chronology.
I don't think it was.
Chronological aspect of it. I don't know.
I think it was a different drummer because I don't think Mickey joined the band until shit.
After Lemmy passed away. Yeah.
After Lemmy passed away. So I think it was like 16 or something before he joined. So
I think you're right.
So I think it was a different. But either way, it was kind of shitty the way they got rid of that drummer. But
yeah.
All right. Anyway, carrying on. November 18th, we had Rudy Sarzo, bass guitarist for Quiet Riot and Ozzy Osbourne. We had Janice, I always kill her, Kunamund, guitarist for Vixen. She unfortunately passed away in 2013. We had Kirk Hammett, guitarist for Metallica, and of course, formerly of Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly known for Metallica.
Yep.
We had Johan Leva, vocalist for Arch Enemy. I guess that was he the first vocalist?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yes, he was the first.
You're a bigger Arch Enemy fan than I am. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, he was the vocalist that Angela Gossow took over for.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's also in a band called Hearse. So. And then we also had Shagrath, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his real name, but he is the vocalist for Demu Burger. And then we had Johnny Christ, the bassist for Avenged Sevenfold. November 19th, we had Matt Sorum, drummer for Guns N' Roses from 90 to 97, and then Velvet Revolver from 2002 to 2008. Then we had Justin Chancellor, bassist for Tool, and Keith Buckley, the vocalist for Every Time I Die. November 20th, we had Ollie Sykes, vocalist for Bring Me the Horizon, Alex Lopez, he's a touring drummer with POD, Robert Lynch, vocalist for Design Curse. And then on the 21st, we had Gary Peel, a guitarist for Sammy Hagar, Tobias Samet, I don't know how they pronounce the last name, but he's the singer-songwriter for Ed Guy and Avantasia. Ben Anderson, drummer for Nothing More. Then we had Tim Labesis, vocalist for As I Lay Dying. November 22nd, we had Billy Velo, singer-songwriter for him, of course. Now he's doing solo stuff. But,
yep.
Then we had Corey Ballou, guitarist for Trivium. The 23rd, we had Patrick Mamelli, vocalist and guitarist for Pestilence. Chris Adler, drummer for Lamb of God and Burn the Priest, even if you don't know that is the same band. So.
And very, very briefly Megadeth.
Well, true. And then we had one of our favorites, Guillermo Espuerto, vocalist, guitarist for Angelus Apatrida.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it was the 23rd or 22nd because I know their time frame's a little different, so I was trying to time it out right. I think I did. Sure. I'm just like, is that right? So, yeah. And then November 24th, which is today, we had Tony Rambola, guitarist for Godsmack, and Rob Nicholson, which is a session and touring bassist for Rob Zombie and Ozzy Osbourne. So definitely no stranger to the stage if you're with those two bands for sure. Even if you are just touring, unless you're with Ozzy these days, you probably ain't got much work. Anyway,
and then I don't know if you had this one, but we also have Russell Satchel Parrish of Steel Panther. His birthday was today.
I did not. So there you go. And also, last but not least, a shout out to the wife. My wife, Susie, has
hell yeah
a birthday today, so happy birthday to her as well.
Yes, happy birthday to Susie.
Yep, putting up with all my shit to do this.
Yeah. We both have a wife that puts up with a lot for us to do this, so we definitely appreciate them both.
And mine gets dragged to shows and everything. he's all cool with it. So.
Yep.
But happy birthday to those guys, and if anybody else out there had a birthday, happy birthday to you as well. So,
Yes.
yes, that will bring us into the news of the week, and we got some slobber knockers and some
We do.
all kind of shit going on this week, man.
Yeah, we do. It was there. There were some kerfuffles, you could say. Uh, so we're gonna lead off with one of those. This one is over at blabbermouth.net, and I'm probably gonna have to have you because I want people to see. I want people to see this.
Okay.
Um, so I probably have to have you post this. And I don't even know. I honestly don't even know if this is a metal band. I don't think it is, but it was too good of a story because I want everybody to see this anyway. So like I say, this is over at blabbermouth.net. Two members of the Brian Jonestown Massacre got into a physical altercation during the band's concert in Melbourne, Australia on November 21st, bringing an abrupt end to the show and the Brian Jonestown Massacre's tour of the country. The fighting began when frontman Anton Newcomb, whose battles with drug and alcohol abuse over the years have been well documented, ordered guitarist Ryan Van Kruyt to leave the stage in the middle of the concert at the Forum in Melbourne's CBD. Quote, cut off this guy's music, put down my guitar, party's over, Captain, end quote, Newcomb said to Van Kruyt. Quote, we actually don't need you. Go, put my guitar down on the stage and think about what's happening, end quote. Quote, you better think about this one, man, because this is forever, Van Kruyt responded. Then they started pushing and punching each other, eventually chasing each other around the stage and ending up in a violent wrestling match on the ground before other band members managed to pull them off each other. Several fans who attended the concert revealed that there appeared to be tension between the Brian Jonestown Massacre members prior to the onstage brawl. Quote, the lead singer basically ranted for 50% of the gig, primarily calling the audience cunts and continued to mouth off at one of the guitarists, end quote, one wrote on social media. Anton lost his voice, but was also yelling and insulting the crowd the whole time he and Ryan got in a fight. Anton kept leaving the stage, wrote another. It was a nightmare, 2 hours on stage of just constant abuse and bickering. We only got 2 songs, paid big money to see music, got a WWE act instead, another joked. Earlier on Wednesday, November 22nd, the Brian Jonestown Massacre's management and Australian promoter announced that the shows scheduled for the Theatre Royale in Castlemaine that night and the Northcote Theatre on Thursday have been canceled, quote unquote, on medical grounds. The Brian Jonestown Massacre has been touring in support of its critically acclaimed 20th studio album, Your Future Is Past, which arrived in February under Newcomb's own label, A Recordings. So here we go. We are going to post, let's see. There's 3 videos, so I'm not exactly sure if it's 3 different angles or if it's 3 segments of the entire thing. So I'm going to start off with the first video and kind of see how this goes here and see what part of this whole thing we get. So we're gonna go with that and see how it works out here.
So before we see the video, I did see this, and I looked at a lot of the comments on this video, and most of the fans that follow these guys have said that they do this all the time. So I'm not sure.
Oh, for real?
So I'm not sure. Like, was this at the beginning of the show though? Because I mean, like a lot of them talk about they do it toward the end. So
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. So, but that's why I'm kind of like with the story. I'm kind of like, you might want to get all your shit straight first before you just go. But I mean, if they canceled the tour over it, I mean, that may be if they actually did. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know these news stories kind of jump on shit and take off with it. So,
right.
But I seen like, I mean, like I didn't go off just one. I seen like bukus of comments about they always do this. It's part of their thing that they do as
okay, all right,
as their show. So, but you know, we'll I guess we can be the judge of how. I mean, if it looks that good, maybe they need a contract.
True. I mean, if it's that convincing, so we're going to start with this one right here. We're going to see how it goes. Well, this one says it's only 3 minutes and 45 seconds, so this probably isn't the whole thing.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
I barely.
Okay, but it does sound like we are at least getting some audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear something going on there. So. Now I don't hear anything. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
Damn. Okay, well, you sent me a text and said there was no audio, so I don't know if I mean, so if there's no audio, then I guess maybe not much of a point, unless you want to try sharing it because it may come through better if you were to share it. But if you guys were watching the video, the one dude walked over to the guy. I mean, he told him to like put down the guitar and. He said there was like going to be no more music until he got the fuck off the stage, and then dude put the guitar down and walked over to him, and then they started pushing and shoving and everything else, and then like excuse me, one of the people who, I don't know if it was the person taking this exact video or if it was somebody standing in the immediate area, but somebody was like, I knew it was going to happen, so I don't really know.
Yeah, I mean that's probably why they knew it was going to happen because of how they.
Yeah, so I don't cause see what the information you told me, I didn't know that part. So if this happens all the time, I don't know if it's like the fans are like waiting for it. Cause like if the one guy was like, I knew this was gonna happen, so I don't really know at this point. So it seems a little it sounds like there could be some information we're missing.
Yeah,
So who knows? I don't really know. But the video the videos over at Blabbermouth, and the PRP also had it. And obviously the videos are at YouTube. So if you guys want to check them out with the audio, since for some reason I can't seem to get the audio to come across. Jason probably would, because whenever we do put up a video and Jason plays it, we get the audio okay. So it might be something on my end. I don't really know. But
oh, that's kind of
so if you guys want to check out the videos and see what all is going on, and you see this one, I mean, they're kind of running around after each other, and then still trying to figure out exactly what that, because in the video we were watching, there was like this chick that jumped on the back of one of the guys. I don't know what she thought she was going to do, but I don't know. But so I don't know. But so there we go. I mean, if you guys want to check that out, it's all over YouTube. So
it looks like it's probably way down the list now because
probably,
I don't see it right now. So.
yeah. Yeah, good evening to Aunt Amy. She is here.
Cool.
Aloha to Aunt.
Yeah.
Took you 20 minutes to find us on Facebook. That's weird.
Well, that's not good, especially if you're in a group. Oh, you know why? Because I didn't share it to the fucking group.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because I sucked at my job tonight. I'll get that over there. So right now. So.
Oh, we suck again.
Right, meow. Right, meow.
So yeah, got bands fighting on stage and everything else. So
But now it's in a group. Yeah, that's the only bad thing. Like if you follow the page, you'll get some stuff, and if you follow the group, you get some stuff. So it's kind of like a sometimes sometimes I'll post stuff on the page because it'll ask me if I want to share it to the group too.
Mm,
That way it goes to both.
right.
But for some reason, the videos never do that. Like the live streams never do that for some reason.
Yeah,
And
we do have to make sure they go. We do have to
because
make sure that they simulcast to both.
yeah, because I only have 3 destinations I can do at a time. So I do
Yep.
Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and then I said, well, and I do the Facebook group. So I guess I should have did or actually I did the Facebook page. So that's why I did that because I thought it would automatically share to the group, but that ain't the way it works, obviously. So,
Mm,
I guess they consider that 2 different destinations at StreamYard. So
yeah, I'm sure they do.
just so they can get another $20 out of me. So,
Well, we're not doing that shit. So
uh, all right. My first one is going to be kind of in the same realm, just not into fisticuffs, I guess. But this one over from Metal Injection. Sammy Hagar recently announced his Best of Both Worlds tour, featuring former Van Halen bassist Michael Anthony. Going to have guitarist Joe Satriani and drummer Jason Bonham. The tour focuses on the Van Hagar era of the band and kicks off in July. Upon announcing the tour, Hagar said in part, we're going to invite every musician in every town. If Alex Van Halen wants to jump in, if David Lee Roth wants to come out and join us, come on, motherfucker, you are welcome. This is about Van Halen. Roth took Hagar up on the offer, but apparently Hagar isn't too interested now. In a series of comments on Instagram responding to fans, Hagar said Roth isn't invited on the tour, but only as is yeah, but only as a guest. He's not invited on the tour. No fucking way. Um, said Hagar. It was to sing a song or two with us somewhere, like a lot of singers, guitarists, etc., going to do on the tour. I know better than to have him on tour again. Been there, done that. So it was misconstrued. David Lee Roth thought he was going on the whole tour, and Sammy's like, "No, you pick a date that you want to come on or whatever, and you can come on a date, not the whole tour." So I guess I can see that. Hagar then took some shots at Roth about his ability to remember lyrics, adding he can come out and sing a song on a show or two if he can remember the words. So, so who, so who knows if Roth is going to show up at some point, given Hagar's opinion on it. So he can go out there and do some kicks down my high. Yeah.
he's got my hand. Double B.
Yeah. Oh man. Maybe they can go on tour together.
Oh Lord.
The non-comprehensive tour.
Yeah. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Good God.
Sponsored by Joe Biden.
Lord. Oh my goodness. Save us all.
Amy said Sammy Hagar is an ass. I mean,
Do you know this from experience, Amy?
yeah. So what did Sammy do to you?
Yeah, you have some breaking news for us. I mean, did you meet him at Cabo Wabo or something? I don't know.
Well, man, you can imagine that some of these guys probably are. I mean, Sammy always seems like he has a good time and stuff, but most of the people that do that are kind of assholes most of the time. So,
Well, yeah, that's true. That is true.
anyway.
Yeah. All right. So going over to the prp.com for my next one. And this one is a little bit more physicality going on. Does this one have a video to it or not? I can't remember. It does. It has one embedded, but I haven't watched it yet. So, Jay Pettigene, vocalist of New York crossover outfit Mindforce, recently took action against a trend he's not fond of at hardcore shows. In particular, he went off on stage divers who rushed the stage and punched down on the audience rather than jumping back into the crowd. The band's November 19th show at Fufune Electrique in Montreal, Quebec, I hope I said that right, saw Pettigene encounter this behavior on stage and summarily physically deal with it by kicking and subsequently pushing the offending audience member back into the pit. He would later say from the stage after the song, quote, "You know that fucking move where somebody gets up here and punches everybody in the face singing along? That shit is soft. That shit is soft. Get the fuck in there," as he points back to the pit, end quote. Pettigene also went on to tweet on the matter afterwards. Oh, it says that the tweet says something has been taken down. Something's not found. Hold on.
Of course.
Well, there is another tweet in here. It says, "Yo, the move where the kid gets on stage to be in the video so everybody can see them, and they just punch down on people off the stage. That shit is mad soft. Get on the dance floor with the true warriors off camera. Stop trying to be the star of the video, Tom Cruise." So, and then I don't know if we want to. I don't know if we want to try to watch this video or not. I mean, that's up to you, Jason. I'm not sure if we want to try to watch this
I
or
mean, we can
not.
try and see if it's just maybe it was just
Let's
that website or something. Is it the same?
Yeah, let's
Is it
see.
still Blabbermouth? Or?
No, it's over at the PRP. So I guess we can try
Oh,
to see if it might be a little different here. So let's try this and see how it goes. So let's try this. All right, let's see what happens here. You just kicked him sprinting. All right, so I don't know. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but I don't know.
we,
You saw him kick the dude in the ass and kick him off the
yeah,
stage.
seen that part. So
Still can't hear it.
yeah, he still couldn't
Okay,
hear that.
so all right, let's. Okay, all right. Well, damn it. Okay, all right. Well, I guess we'll just kind of stop it there. So yeah, apparently, let's see if I can go back a little bit and see the part where he boots the dude off stage. Let's see if we can find that one more time. Where was it? No, that's not it. All right, let's see what we got. I honestly didn't even see the guy get up on stage at first. I didn't know he was there. Oh, there he is, right there. One stage diver. Oh, I see what he's doing. Did you see what he was doing?
Uh-uh. Oh, he was doing.
Did you see what he was doing? Did you see what
Uh-uh.
he was doing? Why the dude kicked him off the stage? All right, hold on. I'm
Uh-uh.
gonna go back one more time, and it's this dude. I guess he's got like in a blue shirt, yellow hat, or orange hat. He's literally standing on stage, bent over, just reaching over and literally punching down on people. Before I've never seen that before, so that's why I was kind of like I'm not exactly sure because, like I said, I didn't watch the video before the show started. So I was like, this is going to be interesting to see what happens. He's literally standing there, literally swinging at people before dude kicks him off the stage.
Hmm.
So let's see when the other guy hops back up on stage. Okay, all right, here it comes. All right, you see this? See that guy right there just got on stage. That dude is not the guy. Watch him. Look at me swinging. You see him? Did you see him swinging
Still,
down on people?
it's like lagging over here for some reason. I don't know.
Is it? Okay, all right. Well, then we're just gonna. All right, we'll just go ahead and just stop this. So yeah. So yeah, interesting because it was that dude was doing something I've actually never seen before. I've never seen somebody get up on stage and just not literally just jump back off. Because I mean, if they because when any show I've ever been to, when they let a band up, when they let people up on the stage to stage dive, you better get up there and jump right off because I mean, security's already giving you enough rope to even get up there to stage dive and crowd surf. So, the for that dude to get up there, he was literally just standing there on the other stage, just like throwing punches, and it's no wonder dude just like booted him off stage, just kicked him right in the ass, and just booted him off stage. So I'd never seen that before. So yeah, that's over. That videos on YouTube and the stories over at the prp.com. So that's interesting. I actually never seen somebody on stage doing that before. So it's kind of no wonder why dude kicked him off the stage. So
I see it like on the YouTube playback over here, so it's a little bit
okay,
it's a little bit delayed. So
right.
yeah, so I did see it over there. So I
Yeah,
don't know for
some dude.
it was like buffering over here for some reason. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, some dude just hops up on stage and thinks it's going to be okay to just stand there and just start swinging at people. I'm glad he got kicked off stage. Actually,
yeah, it should be kicked
seeing
somehow.
that now.
So it's a wonder
Yeah,
because
they
like
should have.
just kicked the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
All
Hell,
right,
he's because the funny thing was is dude kicked him because I mean dude kicked him into the crowd right there where he was standing swinging at people. I wonder if anybody he was swinging at got a payback lick in once he landed. I kind of hope so.
that's
Got a little
wild.
bit of a taste of karma when he landed. So let's hope.
All right, well, I'll go over back over to metal injection here. This one's going to be probably something we'll have to keep a follow up on here. So Guns N' Roses vocalist Axl Rose has been sued for sexual assault by an ex Penthouse model, Sheila Kennedy, over an incident that occurred in 1989. Yes, I said 1989.
1989. Yep.
The lawsuit was filed on November 22nd in the New York Supreme Court and obtained by Rolling Stone. Why is it going to the New York Supreme Court? Like, what the? Do they handle all of that or something? That's kind of weird.
I'm not sure. It's weird that it is strange that the case is going straight to the state Supreme Court. I thought it kind of had to like something had to
Yeah,
work its way up the system up the
yeah,
chains
that's
there.
yeah. And plus, aren't they too busy trying to indict Donald Trump to be dealing with shit like this? I mean,
Well,
uh,
oof.
according to the lawsuit, Kennedy claims that Rose violently sexually assaulted in a New York hotel room. Kennedy met Rose at a nightclub with a friend and eventually went back to Rose's hotel room alongside another model and future MTV host, Ricky Rackman. Kennedy then claims that Rose provided his guest with drugs and alcohol and eventually pushed Kennedy against the wall and kissed her. When he exited the bathroom. Kennedy found Rose attractive and did not mind this encounter. She was open to sleeping with him if things progressed, reads a portion of the suit. Later that night, the suit alleges that Rose began having sex with another model. Kennedy said she was uncomfortable with the situation, adding that Rose was aggressive in a way that appeared painful for the model and that Rose was encouraging group sex. At this point, Kennedy and Rackman left the room. Upon leaving, Kennedy says she heard glass shattering. She also heard Rose screaming at the model, allegedly saying, "You're a fucking whore. Get the fuck out of here." Rose then stormed down the hallway to Rackman's room and seeing Kennedy pushed her down. While Kennedy was on the ground, Rose grabbed her by the hair and dragged her across the suite back to his bedroom. The suit said, adding that Rose then threw her onto his bed and tied her hands behind her back with a pair of pantyhose. Kennedy lay there on the bed with her hands tied behind her back, bleeding, vulnerable, and alone while he was in a sexual volatile rage. The suit continued, adding that Rose performed unwanted anal sex on Kennedy. Kennedy had just witnessed Rose violently have sex with another woman. He dragged Kennedy into his bedroom like a caveman and acted with uncontrolled fury. Rose had physically stopped her from leaving. Kennedy was trapped. He treated her like property used solely for his sexual pleasure. He did not use a condom. Kennedy did not consent and felt overpowered. She felt she had no escape or exit and was compelled to acquiesce.
Acquiesce.
Yeah. And she believed Rose would physically attack her or worse if she had said no or attempted to push him away. She understood that the safest thing to do was to lie on the bed and wait for Rose to finish assaulting her. Kennedy is suing Rose for assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and gender motivated violence. Rose has not yet responded to the lawsuit. So that's going to be something probably ongoing for a little bit, I would imagine. So,
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, that's something that's probably not going away anytime soon. So,
And then hopefully our good friend Ricky Rackman don't get pulled into that mess. So, but
well,
seeing as
uh,
he's witness to some of it,
well, that's the thing is I read the story at a different outlet than you, and some of the details you just read weren't in the story that I read. But from what I understand, Ricky was there and tried to get her away from the situation.
yeah.
I don't know ultimately where he ended up, but he was not involved from everything that I understand.
I
So,
understand that, but I'm saying he's going to get
so
dragged into as a witness to
right.
what's going on because that this should it to me if they were going to do this stuff they should have did it they should back in 89 90 or what. I mean, you had a me too movement years ago. You could have jumped on board then. Like, well, I don't understand why waiting so long, but you know I don't know. I mean, if you fear for your life when he's making 2 million a year, I would probably fear for my life when he's making 30 million a year. I'm just saying. uh,
Yeah, I don't know. It not having been through something like that
I
myself,
mean,
obviously I don't know I don't know why. I don't know why people, the victims wait so long. Probably
well, I mean,
uh
we did know why they waited back then, but I'm saying this has been kind of an open thing that's been going on for a good decade now. I mean,
yeah.
why not
So
do this in 2013 or 2010? I mean, I don't understand why wait till 2020. That's all I'm saying. Like,
right. No, I mean,
I'm not
yeah, I
saying
mean
it did or didn't happen, and if it happened, by God, by all means, I hope he you know pays for it. But
oh,
with,
absolutely. The same
with
we said that yeah, we said the same thing. I mean, we said the same thing with, the Marilyn Manson stuff that came out, and I mean, yeah, I mean, we're definitely on the side of if people have done something wrong, they definitely need to pay the
yeah,
price.
because
Absolutely.
just because you're a rock star or a movie star or whatever the fuck you are, don't mean you're above the law. I mean, that's you know
Absolutely not.
the only
Hell
people that are
no.
above the law are the people that make them. So just saying.
Well, and they shouldn't be either, obviously, and
Well,
obviously a topic. That's a
yeah,
definitely a
yeah,
topic for another show altogether. But I will, to kind of echo your sentiment, I will say this. I mean, 1989 to 2023, that's a long time. It
yeah,
really is a long time. So I don't know. It's not that when someone waits so long, it's not that I don't believe it,
right,
but waiting decades, it it makes it a little bit a harder pill to swallow. And Amy, you're right. Many are there. A lot of them are afraid and think no one will believe them. And I know there's a lot of reasons why. And so I do hope I hope she gets the justice that she's seeking. If he did do all this and she can prove it, then yeah, I mean, then he needs to be held accountable and he needs to be punished. Unfortunately, like I say, hopefully, like if Ricky Rackman gets called in, hopefully he can recollect, you know, his account of what happened. Because, like I say, there's obviously no more physical proof.
right.
All this time later, there's no physical proof. The physical proof is gone. Any physical evidence is gone. So, I mean, there's no way to there's no physical evidence to lend to the case. So now it's her recollection of what she went through. It's hopefully Ricky Rackman will be, if he gets called in, be like, well, this is what I remember, and then I don't even know who the other model is, but I mean, hopefully she can corroborate the other model can corroborate her story, so they can maybe kind of go in together. That would be the best thing if they can go in
Well, and
together and both
even,
tell their
even if
and
that
both
person,
tell their side of the story of what happened that night.
I mean,
Even if that person what?
even if that person's maybe that person maybe not even be alive. I mean, that's
Oh well,
33 years.
I mean it's possible. So I mean, you know, definitely not definitely not trying to, downplay what happened to this woman. So hopefully,
If
if everything happened the way she said it happened, then yeah,
I don't
man,
think it's
Axel's got to pay some sort of price, man.
And I hope he does the same thing and gets the same thing done to him in prison. So,
Oh, for sure. I mean, hey, you know, eye for an eye, butthole for a butthole. So I mean,
I mean, we grew up in that era, so we know how wild shit got in that era. I mean, we've seen Motley Crue videos of the
yeah,
shit on at their parties, and we've seen home videos of Kiss and exposed and shit like that. I mean, so that
yeah,
that kind of gave a sense of what went on in the wild life of a rock star back then. So
hmm
they had multiple
yeah,
women without issue. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
you know, so I don't. And like I said, we weren't there. We don't know. I'm just saying.
right.
You know, I'm just more upset that it waited so long. Like I said, we've been having this kind of talk out in the open for many years, and to wait till shit, man, you could have brought that shit out when he wasn't even relevant anymore. I mean, maybe that's why they didn't. Maybe they didn't want to make him relevant again. But
Uh,
with
there
them
might be a
touring,
little. There could be a small grain of logic to that. It could
so I,
be.
don't
It
know.
could.
Like I said, I can see both. I can make an argument for both sides. That's kind of what I'm saying. But like I said, if it happened, then by God, he should definitely pay for what he did. That's some bullshit. But
Oh, without a doubt. Because I mean, I don't care. I don't care if it was the late '80s and it's the whole sex, drugs and rock and roll thing. I mean, that was a. I mean, it was a thing. We all know it was a thing back then. I mean,
right,
the whole uh, the whole when metal ruled the world kind of thing. That whole documentary was talking about that kind of shit. I mean, it was literally that whole decade was the
was the
definition of
definition of
sex, drugs, and rock and roll. All those stories that came out about it. But I mean, it doesn't mean it should have been a free for all on women. It
right,
definitely
exactly.
doesn't mean that they could do anything they wanted whenever they wanted to. Unfortunately,
I thought that,
probably
I thought that anyways. I mean,
yeah. I mean, probably too many. Because I mean, for every woman like this who comes out, like I say, all these years later, there's no telling how many. There's no telling how many went through maybe not the exact same thing, but you know, there are
well,
probably a lot more. There are probably a lot more horror stories that will never be heard, unfortunately, and that sucks. It really
You
does.
can kind of look at the Marilyn Manson story too. It's like you've had two of the accusations wound up being not legit, and then one he settled out of court. So I don't know if he just kind of did that to appease the person or
I don't know.
that makes you almost look guilty when you do that. I mean, it's
Right? It does. It does.
so so you're paying
I've
one person.
always thought. I've always thought that. When you settle out of court, it just makes you look guilty, and then the other person was like, "Fine, if you pay me, then I'll just go away, even though I still think you did it." And you're like, "Okay, fine, I'll just give you this money, just go away." So I've always thought like when a celebrity, whether it's athlete, actor, musician, politician, anybody of any sort of fame settles out of court, it always looks bad to me. It always
Wasn't
looks bad.
wasn't there something with a basketball player or a football player here recently where like the kid was like 28 or some shit now and was like trying to get their uh like they got on the lawsuit with the mom and was trying to sue the fucking ball player at 28 years old. I'm like, the fuck out of here, man.
Oh, I don't.
Like,
I
we're
have no idea. I don't know.
but that was crazy. I couldn't remember if it was basketball or football, but I remember reading that. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, there's
Yeah, I
no
don't
way,
know.
there's no way you went that long with a millionaire's baby and not collect child support on that baby. Talking about my life was motherfucker. There ain't no fucking way you don't say, hey, you gonna give me some money. I don't care if you cheated on your wife or what you did. You gonna give me some money, or I ain't shut the fuck up. I mean, that's just
Mm,
especially in that situation. I was like, but I mean, there's situations out there like that. That's kind of like you know damn well it just sounds fucked. It's like no, there's no fucking way that
right.
happened.
Yeah.
And then there's shit
Yeah.
like this that
Well, I mean,
oh, that could have happened.
right. Yeah. And I've always and whenever I've heard of a story where the accusations get debunked, whether it was completely made up or whatever, that pisses me off because of the amount of people who have gone through something legitimate
Exactly.
So
But I think they started
whenever there's
charging people for that shit though too.
and
So
well, that's the thing. That's the thing is they should. The people who make false claims should get in trouble because of the people that do have to go through something serious and legitimate and are afraid to say something because of the amount of times that something has come out and proved to be false.
right,
So it's not fair to the real victims, and it's not fair to the person who's been falsely accused. So
exactly.
yeah, if you make false accusations, especially something as serious as that, you should be held just as accountable to a certain extent. But I mean, if Axel is guilty of even half of the shit this woman's accusing him of, he's got some hell he needs to pay.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts about
And
it.
then who's to say if other women don't come forward on the case too? I mean, that's another thing you gotta look at too. That's why I said this will be
Mm-hmm.
something I have to keep our eye on going forward
Absolutely, it will.
because
It
I feel like
absolutely will.
that's what's going to happen. I feel like there's going to be more and more women come across and be like, well, he did that shit to me too at a hotel in '92 or something. You just
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, we all know he had a drinking problem and allegedly hit one of his wives. I know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not outside of his demeanor to do something like that.
No.
So especially not around that time. Like, probably in the
Right.
last 10 years, yes, but the
Yeah.
80s and 90s when they were on top of the world, yeah, he probably thought he was fucking God and get away with anything. So
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, even aside from any of his interactions with women, I mean, his temper tantrums just on stage. I mean, that
yeah,
whole that whole concert in Montreal where James ended up getting burned by that pyro. I mean, that whole story about after James got rushed off to the hospital, he had a temper tantrum. Axel's temper tantrum after James got hurt is actually what led to those riots at that concert,
yeah,
because he came out and had a little bit of a bitch fit after James got hurt. And then that's what caused the crowd to go into a riot, because
I think they
James
played
had an
like
accident.
some or some shit. I don't even remember.
Like, not even, I don't think. So, I mean, because Guns N' Roses was, yeah, right, because Guns N' Roses was the headliner at the time. So after James had his accident and got hurt, Guns N' Roses could have come out. They could have played their full set. They could have salvaged a show. But then, Axel got his panties in a wad and had a conniption fit, stormed off stage, and that's what led to the riot. It wasn't James getting hurt. It was that Guns N' Roses, didn't perform after Metallica had to cut their set short. So, and that wasn't, I mean, Guns, they were constantly like late for shit, and so many instances of Axl just having a shitty attitude. So, I mean, his interactions with women aside, I mean, other bands have just said he's a dick. So I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know if he's mellowed over the years or not, but I mean, back in the heyday, there were so many instances of people going, "Yeah, he's just an asshole."
yeah.
And it's no excuse. It's no excuse,
When
but I mean, it's not breaking news that he had an attitude problem and a temper and everything else. I'm sure drugs and alcohol just
cocaine, hell of a drug.
just made it worse. So I mean, yeah, I mean, so it'll definitely be something we have to keep our eyes on, no doubt about it. I mean, we won't beat a dead horse, kind of like at some point we
Like I
start.
said, we'll just do updates or something as we find
Sure,
out. But
same thing we do.
yeah, I'm not going to go through and read this whole fucking story again. That's not going to happen. So, if
Right,
something
same.
new information comes along, we'll share the new information and move on. So,
Right, yeah, absolutely. All right, moving over to Blabbermouth for the rest of my stories. Actually, the rest of them are over there. Now we all know by now what happened in recently with Slipknot. You know,
yeah,
firing Jay
I know
Weinberg.
I know
We've all heard, yeah, we've all heard about that. So we know by now that Slipknot currently doesn't have a drummer. Jay Weinberg is out. Well, here's a story over at blabbermouth.net. Former Slipknot drummer Jay Weinberg has undergone an outpatient procedure to repair the torn labrum of his left hip and shave down a misshapen part of his femur. The Nashville-based musician broke the news of his operation 2 weeks after Slipknot announced that he was no longer a member of the long-running Iowa-based group. Earlier on Sunday, November 19th, Jay took to his social media to share a photo in which he is on crutches, and he wrote in an accompanying message, quote, "This Tuesday, after 3 years of careful planning, I underwent an outpatient procedure to repair the torn labrum of my left hip and shave down a misshapen part of my femur, a condition that never impacted my drumming in any way, but I've wanted to take care of during downtime from my recording and touring schedule. Since 2020, my priority has been for my playing to go uninterrupted until a window in the schedule would allow me to complete an expected recovery of about 4 months. In May, that schedule started to show that this window would be now. After a follow up MRI in August, I made the decision alongside those close to me in my personal and professional life to schedule this surgery immediately following the last performance of 2023 with the ambition and expectation of myself and my doctors to be stage ready for the next show in April. A commitment I made to myself and to you, although news of this was kept internal. In fact, knowing I wouldn't be able to play for a few months was partially my motivation to create my mixed wave instrument so I could remain collaborative with my own sound until I could return to my drums. Though my commitment to healing remains the same, I'll be disappointed to not see all of you in Vegas as planned, he continued, referencing Slipknot's upcoming appearance at the 2024 edition of the Sick New World Festival in Las Vegas. Quote, perhaps some of you are facing your own challenges. We all do. No matter how down and out you might feel, there are reasons to be hopeful and to keep an actively positive mindset. Have your own back, surround yourself with positive people, focus on what gives your life meaning and purpose. I spent today in a part of New York City that first inspired me to pursue a creative life. It was affirming to revisit a place that brings back memories of discovering metal, punk, and hardcore. I believe I've always shot from the hip, LOL, with you. No reason to change that now. I look forward to sharing my journey with you and keeping you up to date in my adventure back to 100%. Thanks to my awesome team of doctors, I'm already on the path to what I love doing most. The path forward through this recovery will be a challenge, but it's one I'm up for. Quote. So there we go.
So
I'm not 100% sure, like, if
it almost kind of makes you wonder if that has something to do with letting him go. So
I don't know. I really don't know. And the thing that sucks is we probably never will know. We would probably never be able to get a straight answer from Slipknot's side. I seriously doubt they're probably like, oh well, that had nothing to do with it. We probably will never know because that shit came out of the blue. I mean, just what? Hey, we've decided to, we have parted ways with Jay Weinberg, and we wish him luck in the future. I hadn't heard like any rumblings of any, discord or anything. Nothing. I'm so, and that news was like an RKO out of nowhere. I had no idea it was coming. So who knows if this had anything to do with it? I would like to seriously doubt it. I mean, 4 months recovery is like nothing really in the grand scheme of things. So I really don't know because they still haven't. I mean, because they still haven't announced a replacement drummer.
Yeah, so it kind of
So
makes you wonder.
I don't know. I don't know where they're going from here. But Jay's an amazing drummer. So I mean, I hope he'll land on his feet somewhere. But it's just it without knowing the motivation from Slipknot's side of it, I really have no idea what to think about it. Right? Yeah, they couldn't give him 4 months off. Yes, that's the thing. Is I mean, 4 months. I mean, because like Jay said in the story, he was waiting for there to be a window, so he wasn't trying to affect any touring at all. So I mean, he waited until the tour was over, and he was gonna have this operation done and be back in time for them to make their first festival appearance in 2024. So I mean, it looked like he was doing his due diligence not to affect Slipknot at all. So I don't know what the motivation was for Slipknot to do this. I really have no idea because he didn't quit. Jay didn't quit. They let him go. So I really have no idea. I don't know at all.
Who knows what the hell they're doing anymore? It's like,
I don't know.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's go. This one's going to be kind of something we touched upon a little bit. This one's over at Metal Injection as well. We touched a little bit about this earlier in the year, and so some new info has kind of come out about it. So I just wanted to share this along. So, a move that could have far-reaching implications for the live entertainment industry, the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations has issued a subpoena to Live Nation Entertainment and its subsidiary Ticketmaster, demanding documents related to ticket pricing, fees, and resale practices. The The subpoena comes after months of frustration on the part of the subcommittee, and according to CNBC, the subcommittee's chair, uh, let's see, Senator Richard Blumenthal, said that Live Nation has God, I can't even say it, egregiously stonewalled my subcommittee's inquiry into its abusive consumer practices, making the subpoena necessary. Sorry, the printer didn't print my stuff out the font that I wanted it to, so it's
Oh, okay, there you go.
it's a little hard to read some of the words. So, the PSI's probe was initially launched in March, following widespread criticism of Ticketmaster's handling of ticket sales for concerts by Taylor Swift and Bruce Springsteen. In both cases, fans were met with exorbitant fees and technical glitches that made it nearly impossible to purchase tickets. These incidents, along with Ticketmaster's dominant position in the live entertainment market, have raised concerns about the company's use of monopoly power to gouge customers. Quote, despite nearly 8 months and extensive efforts to obtain voluntary compliance, Live Nation and Ticketmaster has failed to fully comply with PSI's requests, including refusing to produce certain documents critical to the subcommittee's inquiry. Furthermore, the subcommittee has identified additional categories of documents necessary to complete its inquiry. As a result, the enclosed subpoena also seeks records related to Live Nation Ticketmaster's failure to combat artificially inflated demand fueled by bots and multiple high profile incidents, which resulted in consumers being charged exorbitant ticket prices, reads a section of the document. The subpoena seeks a wide range of documents, including internal communications, financial data, and records relating to ticket pricing strategies, resale practices, and interactions with artists and venues. This thorough examination aims to shed light on the company's pricing mechanisms and uncover any potential wrongdoing that may have contributed to the surge in ticket prices. A Live Nation spokeswoman responded to CNBC, saying Live Nation has voluntarily worked with the subcommittee from the start, providing extensive information and holding several meetings with staff. In order to provide additional information requested about artist and client compensation and other similarly sensitive matters, we've asked for standard confidentiality measures. Thus far, the subcommittee has refused to provide such assurances, but if and when those protections are in place, we will provide additional information on these issues. End quote. At the heart of the investigation lies the accusation that Live Nation and Ticketmaster have abused their dominant market position to inflate ticket prices and impose excessive fees, leaving consumers frustrated and powerless. The company's merger over a decade ago has resulted in an unchallenged monopoly, allowing it to dictate the rules of the game and extract exorbitant uh, profits from avid fans. The investigation into Ticketmaster is just the latest in a growing number of scrutiny of the company. The Senate Judiciary Committee held a hearing on Ticketmaster's market power earlier this year. Earlier this year, Ticketmaster won a lawsuit filed against them by consumers, thanks to their terms and conditions. If the PSI's investigation finds that Ticketmaster has engaged in anti competitive behavior, the company could face significant legal and regulatory penalties. It is also possible that the investigation could lead to calls for regulatory reforms, such as stricter antitrust laws or the breakup of Ticketmaster's monopoly. So, yeah, still
Okay,
not.
okay, so wait a minute. Or it could lead to the breakup of Ticketmaster's monopoly. That last sentence makes no fucking sense because monopolies are illegal in this country.
Exactly right.
So if they're basically conceding the fact that Ticketmaster has a monopoly, that's illegal in and of itself, and you need to break it up right now. There shouldn't be
Exactly.
any. There's no need for any other investigation if it's already basically conceded that Ticketmaster has a monopoly.
Well,
If that's what they're saying, if that's what
no,
they're implying,
the thing said it's possible that the investigation could lead to calls for a breakup if they decide that it is a monopoly. That's what they're
okay.
saying.
Because I was going to say because that didn't sound exact. That wasn't how I initially took the
Exactly. Yeah.
wording of it.
Yeah. I had to just read it again too once you said
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I can see where that could be confusing. So,
yeah.
but Taylor,
I'm
yeah, you're
interested.
right. These prices are freaking nuts, dude. Just
Oh,
you
it's ridiculous.
were talking about the floor seats in Pantera were like $315 on pre-sale day. Uh, yeah, like I said, I went and seen Pantera and Lamb of God last year in Atlanta at the amphitheater there, and we paid $120 for two tickets. I mean, we were on the lawn, but we still had perfect view of everything. I mean, it wasn't like we were in 315 at Bridgestone. We know how that is. So
Right. Yeah.
we were still closer than that. So I mean, it's and then Octavio was with us. Say, Octavio, what's up, man?
Hey.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think Taylor actually works in the same building I do, and he was talking about that they went on sale, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, man! So,
Yeah.
but,
Well, Amy, there are other, there's like StubHub and
yeah,
SeatGeek. So there are other.
yeah, they just can't handle the amount of tickets that Ticketmaster holds a lot of tickets to bigger venue shows and stuff like that they can't hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can
So
1,500 1,500 tickets or some shit probably. Other than that, anything
yeah,
I think
but
anything
those other
I think anything bigger than like 10K usually Ticketmaster holds. So.
they so Ticketmaster basically does have a stranglehold. So, but this whole thing with the concert ticket, issue is a microcosm of a much larger issue.
Oh yeah,
Obviously we know the prices on everything keep going up. You could pick an industry, it doesn't matter. You're constantly hearing these stories about how all of these companies are just making like massive amounts of profit. And we're people like Taylor and you and me and Amy and even Octavio, even though he's in another country, I guarantee you he's affected by this too. I guarantee you he is. People like us are the ones that always get screwed over by this shit. Yeah, it's all well and good that these companies are making massive amounts of profit hand over fist. And these people who are like, well, that's the whole point of running a business, is to make money. I get that. I do get that. I'm all for capitalism. I truly am. But at the same time, when it comes to a point where you are making your customers have to literally sit and think about where am I going to where am I going to spend my money? Because I don't know about you, but I have to sit and make a conscious decision of, all right, I want to go to this concert. I do. I want to go see Pantera and Lamb of God. I really do. But am I going to go see Pantera, Lamb of God, or am I going to buy groceries, or am I going to pay this bill? Am I going to pay that bill? Or
well, I mean,
if
I mean,
if something happens and I have to get a vehicle fixed, or something happens in the house, So I mean, these businesses are making people have to make insert because people are going to want to go to these concerts and these sporting events and everything else. People have to deal with enough shit in their everyday life. They want one night every so often of a respite from their everyday horseshit stressful lives. And
yeah,
that's what sporting events and concerts and plays, whatever it is,
comedy
whatever
show.
whatever escape there is, people are going to go to these things. So it'd be like, well, if people, because people say it all the time, and I especially hear it with like ticket prices in the NFL. Well, people need to like start influencing, with their wallet and not go. I get it to a point, but I mean, people are not just going to stop going to NFL games. They're just not. People are not going to not go see Pantera. People are not going to not go to Bonnaroo like Taylor was just talking about. People are not going to not go. Would it be effective if one year at Bonnaroo people were just like, fuck you, we're not coming? We are not coming. Would it be effective? It probably would. But these sporting events, these concerts, they know that people are going to come. And and people should go because, like I say, we've all got to deal with crap on a daily basis. So I mean, if we want to go spend an evening, watching a hockey game or a football game or a play or a concert, we should be able to do that for the amount of stress we got to put up with. But
Yeah, but you
when
should do it at a reasonable price, though. I mean, that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, at some point, to not get too long winded, which I know I probably have already, these companies have got to find a balance. How much money is enough money before we start worrying about whether our customers are gonna start considering not buying shit from us anymore. Whether it's cars, whether it's tickets, whether it's
Well, same thing with
deciding
real
whether they want yeah, whether they want to, whether they can or can't buy groceries. I mean, so I mean, at some point, I just always wonder how much profit is enough.
estate.
You're making money hand over fist already. Good for you. Eventually you're gonna price yourself out of business, and I kind of
Hope it
hope
happens.
that I hope that happens in certain industries. I hope that happens. Eventually, I hope some of these companies and some of these industries learn, okay, all right, we're in danger of screwing ourselves over. People have had enough, so we need to start taking some internal steps to do damage control. So this whole Ticketmaster thing and this, I hope it pays dividends to us, the people who buy the goddamn tickets. I really do, because it needs to.
I left this up because I wanted to ask Taylor. I guess you're still on here. I seen you just comment. Was that $385 per ticket, or was that for like a total of two or whatever you bought?
My God,
Because I mean, 385,
tickets.
385 a ticket is ridiculous. Amy said when she sees concerts, it's always through Ticketmaster. So
Yeah, I don't doubt that Ticketmaster probably has the market cornered on the shows that happen over there on the islands, Amy. I wouldn't doubt that for a second. I
yeah.
wouldn't doubt that at all.
And then Taylor said, the Exit 111 festival died after 1 year because of ticket sales were low. I mean, yeah, I get that too, but I mean, I think they expected too much after their first year just because they put on Bonnaroo. I think they kind of like put themselves into a bigger situation than what they could actually pay out. You know what I'm saying? So,
And
um,
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Exit 111 too close to Bonnaroo too? As far as, like, not location, I'm talking about time wise.
oh, it may have been that year because I think they had talked about moving it to like in the fall, I think, or
Hmm.
something. But yeah, I don't know. Or no, it was in October because it was cold. Yeah, it was in October
Okay. Okay.
because yeah,
I couldn't remember. I couldn't
yeah,
remember the time frames, and I thought maybe they were 4 months
yeah,
different. Okay, thanks.
almost
And Taylor did say that was per 385 per wristband, but
for
that's
4 days.
still for 4 days. That's still, because you're still talking because if it was 385, I'm assuming it's 385 plus tax plus this fee plus that fee plus that fee. I'm sure if it was 385, that probably wasn't out the door, but that's still, you're talking still almost $800 for two people. That's
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah. I ain't gonna tell you what I
Oh,
paid for. I ain't gonna tell you what I paid for the Blue
oh,
Ridge Festival.
385. Oh,
This year. I went
he said 385 was the final total. Okay, that's a little better. That's a little better.
I think
$400.
I think the first
400.
year we went to Blue
Okay,
Ridge, it was
that's
a little under. It was a little under six for two tickets for 4 days, which still isn't the best option. But I mean, it's still better than than that for Bonnaroo. That's crazy. And
I
I'm
will.
sure, I'm sure Taylor probably didn't even like half the music that was there, probably. But
Yeah,
uh,
Bonnaroo is a little bit of a different animal, because I mean Bonnaroo is a music festival. So I
yeah, it
mean
has different.
Bonnaroo is I mean
Every
Bonnaroo
counter is there, so
yeah, Bonnaroo literally runs the gamut. So Bonnaroo's a little bit of a different animal altogether, because Exit 111 was still a metal festival, but
right,
Bonnaroo is
it's hard rock.
everything, a little bit of everything. So the only thing that I will say, I go for the vibes. Oh well, that's fine. I will say one thing, that the festivals do kind of skew the curve a little bit, because you do get a little more bang for the buck, even though you are, because like he said, $385 for 4 days. So I mean, you kind of do the math on that. You're still getting a better deal, and like you could probably corroborate that, even with all the issues you had at Blue Ridge. If everything would have flowed logistically like it should have, for the amount of bands you would have been able to see, had everything run smooth, it probably would have made more sense to pay what you paid if you would have gotten to
Oh,
see the amount of bands that were there. So, festivals are a little bit of an outlier, I think, but at the same time, it's still a major league problem.
just go,
Prices of
just go,
everything in general, but the
just my
focus, what
advice
we're focusing on.
is go to one that is established and has been doing it for a long time that knows what the fuck they're doing. So
Yeah, you're probably the DWP festivals.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of festivals, we'll get into that a little bit because we got a couple announcements to make with some friends of the show that's
Yeah, we do. Yes, we
and
do.
pretty cool shit. So,
Hell yeah, we do.
so
All right.
was
All
that?
right. Well, moving.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah,
story.
moving.
I took it
Yeah,
from
moving
Chiefs.
on. Moving on. Staying over at Blabbermouth. Now, again, this is one of those things that we've probably already know by now, but we do know that Kiko Loureiro had taken a leave of absence from Megadeth, and Timo Mantasari had come in, kind of fill in, while the tour's wrapping up. So this is a little bit of a follow-up to that. Megadeth guitarist Kiko Loureiro has announced his decision to extend his absence from the band's touring activities. Kiko, who revealed in September that he would sit out the next leg of Megadeth's Crush the World tour in order to stay home with his children back in Finland, addressed his future plans in a social media post on Sunday, November 19th. He wrote, quote, "Dear Megadeth fans, I want to share with you a decision that hasn't been easy for me. In September, I had to step away from the U.S. leg of the tour for family reasons. Looking ahead during 2024, we anticipate an even heavier touring schedule for Megadeth. After thorough reflection and discussions with Dave Mustaine and Megadeth management, we have collectively agreed that it is the right move to extend my absence. I don't want to hinder any of the band's plans or the hard work of all the incredible people involved in the tour. My 9 years with Megadeth have been an unbelievable journey." It's amazing. It's already been 9 years. That's crazy in and of itself. "Filled with countless pinch me moments," he continued, "unforgettable tours, a Grammy Award for Dystopia, a Grammy nomination, and various accolades for the sick, the dying, and the dead are just a few of the highlights. It's hard to put into words the magnitude of these experiences. I am sure any heavy metal fan can appreciate how incredible it is to play and create music in a band you grew up listening to and to share the stage with a guitar legend like Dave Mustaine, along with phenomenal musicians like James Lomenzo and Dirk Verburen, not to mention our incredible crew. However, the most cherished aspect of these 9 years has been getting to know the incredible army of devoted Megadeth fans around the world. Your dedication is inspiring, and I have immense admiration and respect for all of you. Much love. See you soon." End quote. In early September, Megadeth enlisted new touring guitarist Timo Mantasari of Winter Sun and Smackbound to fill in for Kiko. So Timo Mantasari, he's basically the new de facto guitar player because this is kind
Right.
of an open-ended. Kiko's not out of the band. He's not out of the
Right.
band, but he's kind of on an open-ended extended leave of absence. So Timo is the new guitarist for now, however long that may end up being. Still not 100% sure, what the family thing is, whether he's just kind of doing like,
I thought, I thought
what
he was a sick family. I thought he was a sick family member or something. He was taking care
I I don't remember, to be completely honest with you. If that came out, I don't recall because I know that I know that he went back to Finland to be with his family. So I don't know if he's just trying to do what Tom Araya did because that's why Tom Araya wanted to retire from Slayer. He's like, I want to go be a dad.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Kiko is just doing the dad thing in general, or if there is some sort of like singular issue that he's going to address. I don't know. So, and I don't think we need to know. I really don't think we need to know.
Well, no, I
He's
mean, if
taking
it's personal, then
he's taking care of his business. Dave is like, dude, go take care of it. Take your time, do whatever you need to do. And that's, as far as like we're concerned, that's all we need to know. So if Kiko's doing what he needs to do, he can do it. And I wish him all the best because I mean I've seen some footage of Megadeth with Timu playing the guitar, and man, he took off and running with it. I know Dave is happy, and so happy Dave, happy the rest
yeah.
of us. So I mean, yeah, so best of luck with Megadeth moving forward with Timu because they're gonna do fine, and then I hope Kiko can do what he needs to do for him and his family. So
And Taylor, yeah, you're right. He's on better standing than Jay is with Slipknot. So.
yes, much better standing,
Obviously.
much better.
All right, my last one is over from Metal Hammer. This is a kind of strange story, but a little. So let's be honest. As much as we all love a shark, orcas are definitely in with a shout of earning the title of most metal animal in the sea. Firstly, they're absolutely massive. Secondly, they feast on other animals. Thirdly, they wear corpse paint. Fourthly, they're nicknamed killer whales. The defense rest. They wear corpse shit right there. All jokes aside, you'd be pretty terrified if a pod of these big animals came hurtling toward you while you were out at sea. And with various, sometimes unsubstantiated news reports emerging this year of aggressive orcas attacking boats, you can understand why sailors are trying out new techniques to deter them from coming too close. One unexpected tactic is that is currently doing the rounds in the marine community is to blast heavy metal at the fearsome sea animals. According to a new report in the New York Times, Captain Florian Rush and his crew found themselves in uncomfortably close proximity to a pod of orcas around the Iberian Peninsula earlier this month. He attempted to drive them off with a specially curated playlist of metal bangers titled Metal for Orcas. The mix included cuts by death metal mainstays such as Aborted Dying Fetus and Ingested, and was played via an underwater speaker. Unfortunately for the crew, it didn't work. The orcas attacked the rudder of the catamaran, causing enough damage to leave the boat stranded and its occupants requiring rescuing via local authorities. Captain Rush described the situation as scary, adding, "No one knows what works, what doesn't work." In their own investigation into the subject, Business Insider spoke to Andrew Trites, director of the Marine Mammal Research Unit at the University of British Columbia, who explained that playing such loud, abrasive music could, in fact, inadvertently attract the orcas to the boat. Initially, the playing of the loud sounds underwater might mask the signature sounds of the sailboats, he said, but ultimately the whales would catch on and use it to more easily locate vessels playing it. Others within the sailing community insist that heavy metal works as an orca deterrent, with one user in the Orca Attack Reports Facebook group stating that rattling the hull by playing full volume East European thrash metal helped them keep the animals at bay. Others have pointed to both metal and dance music as useful repellents. The data seems a little unclear on this one for now, but we'll say this: heavy metal might make a kick ass soundtrack for your boat trip, but we probably wouldn't suggest you rely on it to scare away massive sea creatures. Plus, let's not forget, they were here first, to be fair. That would be a circle pitch you may not want to be in. So,
That's right. Taylor even said the same thing. It made him
uh,
want to started a whale mosh pit.
a whale mosh instead of wash, I guess.
Well, the funny thing is like orcas already have corpse paint on anyways. I
It is
mean,
true, yeah. So, it's pretty funny. He said that, I was like, imagine, I was like, oh, God, it is funny. Because they do kind of look like they have paint on their face.
right? Yeah, they've already got corpse paint on anyway, so they're just, they're ready to go, man. I like
Like,
that.
they heard the music and they was ready to get to the front of the stage, man.
Well, I mean, then I mean, you can consider me part orca too, because every time I hear metal, I'm like, where's that coming from? I'm like, I need to go find that. Where's it coming from?
Gotta put a new name into the wall of death real quick. So,
Jesus, yeah, you're not kidding.
uh, but that
Hit
was
them with
the
some behemoth and
last
watch
story.
the rage. Hell yeah, dude. All right. Well, I've got one more too, but it's actually very very quick. So this one is actually one. This was actually one that I found just a little while ago. So this was one that I didn't even send to you last night when you asked me to. So obviously Pantera's on tour right now, and we know that Zach Wilde and Charlie Benante are filling in for Vinny and Dime respectively. So this one's going to be a little bit interesting moving forward. Over at blabbermouth.net, during the question and answer portion of this month's Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp's Metal Mania 3 in LA, Zach Wilde was asked if he is planning to continue playing with Pantera permanently, quote unquote. He said, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net in the video by the Silver Dude, quote, "Yeah, I told the guys whenever, as long as they want to do it. I don't know why you would want to end it because all you're doing is going out there and you're just celebrating the fellas. I think it's a beautiful thing and I get to hang out with my buddies." End quote. Zach, who was close friends with late Pantera guitarist Dimebag Darrell, was also asked about his relationship with Dimebag's brother, late Pantera drummer Vinnie Paul Abbott. He said, "Oh, Vinnie was great too. With Diamond Vinnie, every night was Friday night or Saturday night because it wouldn't be Sunday. And even if it was Sunday, it would be Sunday night football. You know what I mean? Every night was Friday night, man. I mean, it just literally was. I always say it. If you were hanging out with Diamond Vinnie, there was zero time to get depressed. If you were bummed out, it's like, Zach, call up the fellas. We're going to have a party. You could either be depressed or you could be loving life and whooping as much ass as possible. They were always about having a good time. I mean, Dime would walk in a room if somebody was depressed, as could possibly be, and he would just light up a room. Same thing with Vinny, man. So no matter how you feel about this whole Pantera, you know, legacy tour, and like we've said before, we here at the Metalheads Unite podcast, we're all for it. So if you're against it, sounds like you're shit out of luck because Zach's going to play as long as Phil and Rex want to do it. So, which for me, hey, keep it going, man. I'm all for it. So,
And if you think about it, like what he said makes sense because Vinny took that kind of attitude along with him with Hell Yeah too, because they were a big have fun party band. I mean, even Chad Gray said that. He brought a different atmosphere to the band. Just being around. So, I mean, that's the
yep.
kind of people you kind of want to circle your set with anyway, is the people that are having a good time and not bringing the party down and shit. So, music is a good time. So. uh, I'm down for the Pantera reunion, but I'd love to see Zach Sabbath again. Yeah.
Actually, Zach, I'd have to look back because I know that Zach Sabbath. Man, I can't remember how long ago it was. God, I have to go back and look at my notes. But Zach Sabbath is still around, and they are still playing shows. Taylor, I do know that. God, I can't remember when it was, but now that you bring it up, I remember. I remember talking about Zach Sabbath in the Hit in the Road segment. So they have shows scheduled. They are still going to be playing music, Taylor. So you could probably you
Yeah.
could probably look it up and find out.
Isn't,
So
isn't, isn't like a Black Label on a shit? They're listed on something that I've seen too, like a festival or cruise or something.
yeah,
I was
hang
like,
on a
wow.
second. I just Googled it because I wanted to be sure too. Let's see. Uh, Zach Sabbath, and now that I'm looking at it, it was back from the beginning of October. Zach Sabbath announces December 2023, January 2024 North American tour. So Taylor, there you go. Unfortunately,
Neat though, I guess.
let's see. The closest they get to Tennessee appeers to be Atlanta.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not too bad. So,
January 13th in Atlanta at the Masquerade. So
road trip.
so Taylor, man, if you want to see them, they're going to be rolling around. So yeah, Atlanta's 4.5 hours from here. It's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, I drove down there to see Pantera and drove back. So, all
Yep,
right. So, a couple of
I've
more
been I've been there. I've been there a couple times.
couple more headlines here. Ex-Hinder frontman Austin John Winkler went through 7 rehabs and 8 sober livings before achieving sobriety. So never give up. If you're in that situation, I know it's hard and you fall off the wagon every once in a while, but obviously there's people out there that's getting through it and achieving their sobriety at some point. So there you go. There's some hope out there. So,
Mm-hmm.
Mike Portnoy opens up about his return to Dream Theater. He said it just felt like the time was right to do it. So, and then James LeBrie said, "Yeah, just bring it back." That's exactly. Uh, uh, let's see. So Kiss cancels their 3rd concert in a row over Paul Stanley's illness. I think he's having some throat issues or something
Yeah,
going
yeah, and
on.
this latest one was here was in Tennessee. It was in Knoxville. So
Yeah. So, was it Knoxville or Memphis? I couldn't remember.
Knoxville.
It was Knoxville. Okay.
It was Knoxville. They were playing on the UT campus.
Ah, got it. So Ozzy Osbourne rules out performing in a wheelchair. He said, "What's the fucking point in that?" Which we're kind of grateful for that because we already talked about that. And then Ricky Ratman expressed his vision on that back at the Rockin' Pod too. He's like, "Yeah,
Yep.
I don't want to remember Ozzy like this,"
Mm-hmm.
and we don't either. So.
Yeah. Still boggles my mind all these months later that we got a chance to have him sit down and talk with us. That's still
That's pretty cool.
it's still amazing. He sat down with us for 10 minutes and it just felt like we talked to him for an hour. It's fucking nuts.
It just proves you can bribe anybody to do anything you want. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's true. No, he was cool. He was awesome.
Coal Chambers' death for Farah embraces all the music industry changes, which I mean, you could probably see that because Coal Chamber and Devil Driver don't sound like the same band at all. So let's see. I'm sorry, I didn't add it all to my thing, so I'm having to go down the list here.
Oh no,
Exodus C. Steve Souza says, "What keeps him motivated is he owes it all to the fans who still want to see us." So there you go.
ooh,
Love, for,
ooh,
love for
me,
fans.
ooh,
Yeah,
me. I do.
this and I put this in the group page, but Sacred Reich's to enter in the studio in April of 2024.
Hell
So
yeah.
we get some. There's some more new music we'll get in 24.
I know.
Jesus, it's like,
I know.
this one's big. Glenn Hughes celebrates 26 years of sobriety. So there you go.
That's awesome.
That's freaking great.
That's awesome. And hell, Saxon, to piggyback the Sacred Right thing, Saxon's got a new album coming out next year.
Uh, well,
I actually even posted the video for the title track to the Facebook group earlier.
I put one of them in the playlist for the week
Yeah,
too. So
Hellfire and Damnation.
I think that's the one I put in there too.
Yeah,
So,
good song.
uh,
Damn good song.
and Andreas Kisser says there won't be a new Pantera, new Sepultura studio album for a few years. Oh, hopefully there's not a new Pantera.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. We talked about that before. You want to go out and go out and play the
The
past
hits,
music.
yeah,
That's fine. Yeah,
play the hits. That's fine, but yeah,
that's fine.
don't make nothing new, please.
No, that's a completely different animal. I think we would take umbrage with trying to make new Pantera music.
Fear Factory's Dino Cazares says the new singer Milo Silvestro said if you close your eyes, you will think it's Burton C. Bell. So we'll be the judge of that, I guess.
Yeah.
You make new music. So. And then we was going to talk about this. You talked about this a little bit, but Phil and Semo said on Pantera's return, I know for a damn fact Beanie Paul and Downbag would want to do this. And I've seen a lot of like arguments about this in this post too with some of the comments. They was like, oh well, Beanie didn't like you and he would never come around or blah blah blah. And I thought they were on speaking terms there toward the end. So you know, and who knows if Dom, like the whole thing is like if Dom and him, if Dom lives, I mean, we would still be talking. We probably wouldn't have Hell Yeah. We'd still be talking about Damage Plan. I mean, that's probably what would be happening right now. We probably wouldn't even be talking about a Pantera reunion. Well, I mean, we probably would. I'm not going to ever rule that out. I think it would have happened eventually anyway.
I think it would have too. I honestly do. I think if what happened to Dimebag wouldn't have happened, I think the original lineup would have gotten back together eventually. Unfortunately, it would have all depended on the timing because
Right.
because of the heart problem that Vinny had. He still he died at 54, so
Yeah.
so obviously what happened to Dime happened way too young, and then even the health issue that got Vinny, he even died way too young. So I still think the original lineup would have gotten back together, and I I still agree with Phil. I think Phil. I agree with Phil. I think Vinny and Dime, for wherever they're watching from, I think they would be okay with what's going on right now because they're celebrating.
Yeah.
They're celebrating the legacy of the band, and
And I hate the fact that people say, "Oh, well, Phil's just tagging on to a damn ticket or whatever." I said, "Man, Phil was doing down just fine. I mean, it ain't like he wasn't performing music. So I mean, it's not like he. I mean, he didn't need to do it. I mean, I'm sure he's still getting residuals off all the shit anyway.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, like somebody else said too. Said, well, if Vinny and Dom's wives were granted the permission for the band to do whatever it needed to do, then you know, and they said yes. Then I mean, what are you going to do? I mean that's
Mm-hmm.
so. I don't
and
know.
give and give credit to Phil and Rex because they actually got the blessing of the estate.
Right.
They didn't just go out and just like, all right, we're getting Zach and Charlie, we're just going to go do this and we don't need their permission. They did it respectfully. They got permission from the
Well,
Abbott estate to go ahead and do it.
and a portion of the earnings is going back to the estate too.
Of
So.
course it is. Yeah, and it should. So I mean they're being 100% respectful of this whole thing. And Taylor, I see your comment there. I'm sure at the time when that magazine article came out, I'm sure Vinny actually felt that way. I don't doubt it because there was animosity between Vinny and Phil for a long time. There really was.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling. I just believe had all four of them, Dime doesn't get killed. I
Well,
have a feeling that time would have healed the wound. I never say never to like anything, really. I know it's one of those things where, obviously the odds of certain things, they go up, they go down or whatever, but I still have a feeling that at some point they could have hashed it out, and I still think all four of them would have got back on stage together. I truly do. I believe that.
and I
I
think,
believe it would have happened.
and I think if Dom is alive, then I think that's the glue that holds it together too. Because
Exactly. I think that would have been the bridge.
I think Dom could convince Vinny into doing it. So
Good. Well, that's the thing is I know at some point Phil was trying to reach out.
yeah,
Phil was reaching out at some point, and
well, I
Vinny
think he,
was Vinny was still not having much to do with it. Not to say that I blame him per se, but eventually I think, like you said, I agree with you that Dime would have been the bridge. So, obviously none of that happened, but I still feel all things going the way they should have. I mean, people say everything happens for a reason. I still think, you know, I still think everything, if everything would have proceeded like it should have, then we would have still gotten all four of the original members back together at some
yeah.
point. I probably will believe that moving forward. I really do.
I just hate the negativity everybody throws at this. I'm just like, well, I mean, hell, it's simple, man. You don't feel that you feel a certain way about it, then just don't fucking go. I mean, like if you ain't gotta support it. I mean,
No, you don't. You don't have to buy tickets. You don't have to watch any of the videos of the performances on YouTube. You don't have to participate at all if you don't want to.
yeah.
That's the great thing about life. You don't want to fucking do something, don't fucking do it. Don't do it.
Great thing is about life is everybody bitches because you're supposed to agree with them. So,
Yep.
man. Anyway, carrying on here. Halloween is about to be completing their next studio album, so that's going to be exciting. So I mean, just more new music.
Add it to the list.
Jesus Christ. Um, and then let's see. Oh, what was it? There was one about Gene Simmons. Yeah, there's Gene Simmons isn't a fan of cell phones. If I had my druthers, I'd take them all away. He was saying that it's he's the thing that got me laughing. He's like, I'm up there risking my life, and people's got their cell phone. Risking your life, doing what, motherfucker? You ain't in a war, like shit.
Yeah. The only thing,
Feels in bitch, like
yeah, the only thing he's really in danger of is turning an ankle with those goddamn platform boots he wears. That's really the only thing he's in danger of.
yeah. I was just like, what? I seen that. And he's like, risk your life. I was like, what the fuck are you risking your life doing?
Yeah, no, not so much.
Being in the band, period. I, mean, I don't know.
Yeah. No. I also saw something that said that he wasn't going to post anything on X anymore either.
Well, yeah, and like 20 people already said they're leaving the country too if Trump gets back in office. But that ain't gonna happen either.
No,
So.
no.
Even if he does, like I'm not saying he will or won't. I don't really care because, like I've always said, a politician he did shit for me except take my goddamn money. So.
Yeah, no matter what party they're in, all they do is take. So yeah, yep, that's true.
Then, you'll be glad to hear this. Meshuggah's added Bleed back into their set list. Maybe not Thomas Heat, but the fans may be glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Thomas probably seen that and said, "Fuck."
Yeah. Just make sure you stretch real good, Thomas. You'll be all right.
There you go. Then, if you're interested, Metal Injection has the album of the year voting going on now over at their website.
Oh, okay.
I've already.
They have the album of the year voting. Okay, that's fine.
So I've already voted one. You can do it every day too. So if you want to vote for somebody different every day, it's your right to do so. Yeah. Let's see if
it's probably a pretty safe bet that we will not have the same albums of the year that they do.
Oh well, actually, I was surprised at some of the albums that they had on that list. I was like, wow.
Really? Okay, I may have to check it out.
There's actually some of the kind of ones that we do because we don't know the band or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So,
well, good.
Of course, Angel Sapatrita is on there, so just so you know.
Well, they should be.
Of course, Metal Church, Overkill, Metallica, all the bigger bands are on there, but there were some smaller bands on there too that I've actually listened to. Repentance was on there. I was like, oh,
good.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I was like, oh,
Good.
okay, that's uh, anyway, I think that's about all of the headlines that I can dig up right off the bat. I didn't. I knew there was something I was missing doing, and that's what it was.
Nice. All right.
I pretty much took care of most of it though. So
Well, that's good.
there we go. So all right. So all right. I guess we can cling over into Believe Live as outstanding. Yes, it is. I will say that. So I hung around just to hear that song. When I seen them, I'm just like, I don't really care about another issue. I don't want to hear fucking Bleed. I want to see this motherfucker octopus this some bitch and drum set.
Right.
Actually, I was just like, I don't know. I want to see how the fuck he does this. That's exactly
Right.
what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly. He'd be like, I need to know if he's really up there doing it. And sure enough,
if anybody's ever heard that fucking shit, you're just like, man, it's actually saw him in bottom room at like 2 a.m. Oh shit.
oof,
Oh man. They was probably
oof.
just I hope they hopefully they just got up at 9:30 at night if they going on at 2 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, I saw him in the daytime at Sonic Temple, I think it was in 19. I said, "Oh yeah, we gotta go watch this set just to see this dude's feet, how fast they go." It was fucking amazing. Like I was, she's like, "Why are you on this side?" Because the drum kit's right there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep you honest, motherfucker. So, and yeah, it was crazy just watching his feet move during that shit, man. I'm just like, oh my god, how the fuck? But he did it. So,
There you
more
go.
power to him. So,
He definitely created a monster when he recorded the drum line
oh
for the
yeah, yeah. That's probably one of the biggest regrets of his life.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great, but I regret doing it. But
Yeah. He's probably like, I should have recorded this differently.
yeah, Thomas he is definitely
He is a monster.
one of my like I said, like Meshuggah's not even one of my favorite bands, but he's one of my favorite drummers to watch, dude. It's just insane.
Yep.
And I love like a lot of these festivals do the overview too. Like they'll have like an overview on the big screen
A
of
drum
the
cam overview. Yeah.
oh man, it's so cool to watch that. We know Taylor's favorite band is Ginger, so
Well,
so
nothing wrong with it.
for him to say something about and I'll say that about another friend of mine too. There's a big Tool fan, and he starts talking about this other some other musician or something being so good. And I said, hey, that means a lot coming from you because I know you're a Tool fan, so and I'm not, and I think that's like the thing with me is I'm not. I don't think I have like a dead set favorite. I mean, I think I just could watch a lot of bands multiple times over, and it's just I don't know. It's just weird to me. I just don't have a favorite. Drummer drummer first, Ginger fan second.
Okay. All right.
Got you. Oh
All
man.
right.
Yeah. Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, Taylor does play a little bit. So, all right, we can kick over into our hitting the road segment here. I didn't do anything because, honest to God, I forgot what the fuck we have talked about and what we haven't. So I'm just like,
That's
yeah,
fine.
he's for 19. Yeah, Taylor played for 19 years, so
Nice.
he's pretty good on the set of sets. So,
Nice.
but yeah, it's yeah. So I was just like, man, I can't remember what we posted, what we hadn't posted. I said, well, we'll at least get some of the announcements out of the way that we kind of heard this week.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And I do have one of those at the tail end of this thing here. So for hitting the road for the week of November 18th through the 24th, leading off at the PRP as always, we have Gorod, Wormhole, Half, and Exist, who will be on the tour for only 3 shows, going out starting January 12th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Milk Boy, finishing January 28th in Houston, Texas at White Oak. They will be in Nashville at the end on January 16th. We have Firewind, Edge of Paradise, and Immortal Guardian coming to the United States starting April 12th in Manchester, New Hampshire at the Angirl City Music Hall, finishing May 6th in Houston, Texas at the Warehouse Live. Escuela Grind has announced a U.S. tour with Take Offense, Brat, Bonginator, Slow Pulse, Frog Mallet, and Come Mierda, which I think it's funny as hell that somebody named their band Eat Shit, appearing at select dates on varying lineups. So that tour starts on January 10th in Middletown, New York at Quinn's Pins, finishing February 17th in Boston, Massachusetts at Sonia. Godsmack is going out on a trio of Vibes tour dates, which is going to be like a combination of music and, stories from the road and all that good shit. Starting February starting February 15th in Tulsa, Oklahoma at Hard Rock Live, February 17th in Shawnee, Oklahoma at the Grand Casino and Hotel Event Center, and February 18th in Thackerville, Oklahoma at the WinStar Casino.
You know how much we love the road stories.
Yep, we do. Gideon, Left to Suffer, Fox Lake, and No Cure are going on a tour of North America starting February 9th in Memphis, Tennessee at Growlers, finishing Stone Cold Steve Austin Day, March 16th in Nashville, Tennessee at Eastside Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Angel Maker and Reflection are going on some off-date shows together from their Veil of Maya tour appearances. Those tour dates are January 25th in Wichita, Kansas at Temple Live, January 28th in Las Vegas at Synwave, February 7th in Virginia Beach, Virginia at Scandals Live, and February 17th in Bensalem Township, Pennsylvania at the Broken Goblet. Motionless in White has announced a trio of summer European headlining shows. August 8th in Krakow, Poland at the Quadrat. August 13th in Amsterdam, Netherlands at the Milkweg. And August 14th in Karlsruhe, Germany at Substage. Emure 1056 and Diamond Construct have announced an Australian tour starting February 16th in Perth at the Amplifier Bar, finishing February 25th in Brisbane at the Cult Fest. In Flames, Arch Enemy, and Soil Work have announced a European and UK tour starting October 3rd. That's a long ways out. In Glasgow, Scotland at the O2 Academy, finishing November 5th in Helsinki, Finland at the Ice Hall. So that damn tour is almost a year out. Whew, that's a long way to wait. Napalm Death, Pig Destroyer, Primitive Man, and Wormrot are going to Europe and to the UK, starting February 9th in Cologne, Germany at the Essig Fabric, finishing March 9th in Liverpool. We have a band from Liverpool. Liverpool, England at the O2 Academy. Attila, Born of Osiris, Aviana, and Crown Magnetar are going to Europe and to the UK, starting March 27th in Saarbrücken, Germany at the Garage, finishing March 31st in Oberndorf am Neckar, I hope I said that right, Germany at the Easter Cross Festival. Gasket and Agency are going out starting December 28th of this year in Jacksonville, Florida at Rain Dogs, finishing January 6th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the Rock Room. The Plot and You has a European and UK tour planned with the opening acts to be announced starting September 6th, 2024 in Leeds, London at the O2 Islington Academy, finishing September 15th in Cologne, Germany at Canteen. Of Mice and Men, Dream On, Dreamer, and Sienna Skies have announced an Australian tour. It's only 4 days, but it is what it is. Starting February 23rd in Adelaide at the Lions Arts Factory. Dream On Dreamer will not be at that show. The next night, February 24th in Sydney, Australia at the Metro Theatre. February 25th in Melbourne, Australia at 170 Russell. And February 27th in Brisbane at the Triffid. And then the only other announcement I have came from Facebook, came from our friends at Hidden Intent. They will be direct support for Sepultura when Sepultura comes to Australia with Hidden Intent, Deprivation, and Depravity. 4 dates in Australia in November 26th in Fremantle at Metropolis, November 28th in Adelaide at The Gov, November 29th in Melbourne at Max Watts, and December 4th in Brisbane at the Princess Theatre. So congratulations to our buddies from down under Hidden Intent getting to open up. Well, not open up. They won't be opening. They will be direct support for Sepultura. So I know they are super duper excited about that.
And then one more.
One more.
Also, another friend of the show, Eyes of the Living, is going to be at the Milwaukee Metal Fest.
That's huge for them.
Yeah. So they're going to be on the same stage as, well, I don't know if the same stage, but they'll be at rubbing elbows with bands like Metal Church and Hatebreed and so forth. So, good luck to those guys. Actually, I was saying, I hope that Metal Church actually sees their set and takes them on tour with. That would be an awesome fucking show.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, so congrats to those guys too, man. I know Tim and Chris are probably in Flat Mike. Not that so, man.
Never not funny. Never not funny.
There is. And so there is the weekly playlist. So if you want to catch some new tunes like the Saxon tune that we were just talking about earlier, that is on that playlist. You can also catch that over at Spotify and just look up Metalheads Unite and then look up the weekly playlist 46. I think it
Mm-hmm.
is.
It
So,
is.
so
This week is 46.
which
20, 2023.46.
which I think once I think about that, I think I'm 2 weeks behind maybe. Since there's 52 weeks a year. Yeah, well, maybe not. Well, maybe not. Maybe just a week. Maybe I don't know. I think there was a week I didn't post something
I
because
think there was two. Yeah, I
I
think there was, but
do them in order. And
yeah, I think there was like one week where we didn't do one.
all right, I guess that will lead us. I guess I could leave it just. I
Yeah.
guess that will lead us into the theme of the week. And we didn't. Oh yeah, we didn't have a theme last week. Oh,
No, we
well,
didn't. We didn't have a theme
I
last
was
week.
like, damn, I had a theme, but no. So I can leave that up there for right now. So, so our theme of the week, me and as biggest shopping day of Christmas, Black Friday, we chose to do Black Friday as the topic. So,
Yes, we did.
so not, I don't know about you, but I couldn't find many songs about Friday except for the
I was
one.
about to say we didn't pick an easy one this week by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, so, but I kind of went with the theme, the Black and the Fridays, for a minute, and then I stayed away from three songs because I thought you would do them.
I
So,
probably did the same thing as you.
if you didn't, then I'm gonna be like,
Well,
but
if it's the songs
we'll
we're
add,
thinking of, we just add them in there. So it's
yeah,
no
yeah, yeah, we'll add them. But I just
big
always like,
deal.
I just always find it funny. Like once we do this and we're actually right, it's always funny to me that
Well, where
we know
I
each
mean,
other that well. So,
we do. We know each other so well. Yeah. So,
uh, but I'll kick it off. I guess theme of
all
the
right.
week, Black Friday, and of course I had to kick it off with Ice Nine Kills. Thank God it's Friday
Yeah.
from the Silver Screen 2020. Then I went with White Zombies, Black Sunshine from Los Exorcisto Devil Music Volume 1, 1992.
That was one of them for me.
Yeah. And then I went with Testament Souls of Black from the Souls of Black album in 1990. Then I went with Megadeth's Black Curtains from Euthanasia 1994. Then I went with Metallica Fade to Black, of course, from Ride the Lightning 1984. Then I went with Lamb of God Blacken the Cursed Sun from Sacrament 2006. Then I went with Parkway Drive Blackout from Killing with a Smile 2006. Then I went with Hell Yes Black Flag Army from Welcome Home 2019, which is the final album Benny was on. So
Mhm.
about that earlier. Then I went with Bury Tomorrow Black Flame. That's from the Black Flame album in 2018. Then I went with our good friends Hidden Intent, Good Friday Thrash from Walking Through Hell in 2013.
Hell yeah.
Then I went with Motionless in White, Black Damask, The Fog. That was from the infamous album in 2012. Then I went with In This Moment, Black Wedding from the Ritual 2017. And then these two kind of reminds me of holiday shopping, so I threw them in there. Dio's Last in Line from Last in Line 1984. You don't want to be last in line because you'll miss out. So, then I went with Chevelle's Tug of War because you'll always see a video of somebody tugging on shit during this time of year. So that comes from this type of thinking can do a Sam from 2004. That will conclude my contribution. So,
Okay, so we do have to add one song back in there. There is one song we have to add, and there is actually we did have one double. Um, so it was looking like we weren't going to have any duplicates, but we do have one.
yeah,
I tried to stay simply with the shopping theme. So everything
gotcha.
I added had to do. I tried to do like everything I tried to do had to do with the actual theme of going out and buying shit on this insane shopping day. Because we've all seen the videos of people tripping over each other and fighting and just like Black by Trivium from the. Hey, there you go. All right.
Throw that on there too.
Yeah, I tell you what, yeah, we'll do that. All right. So, having said that, here's my contribution to theme of the week. Starting off with Madhouse by Anthrax from Spreading the Disease from 1985. Then I went with Caught in a Mosh by Anthrax from Among the Living from 1987. Then I had Addicted to Chaos by Megadeth off Euthanasia from 1994. Then I had Round and Round by Rat from Out of the Cellar from 1984 because you're driving round and around in a parking lot trying to find a fucking parking space.
Yeah, right.
Then I went with Black Friday from a band called Mortillery off their Shapeshifter album for 2016. They are a thrash metal band from Edmonton, Canada. Then I went with Black Friday Bedlam by Chaos Doctrine from their And in the Beginning They Lied from 2021. They are a death slash groove metal band from Johannesburg, South Africa. So then I had Last in Line by Dio from The Last in Line from 1994 for obvious reasons, same reason as you. Then I went with By the Lie from a band called Gravelhead off their self-titled Gravelhead album from 2010. They are a heavy metal band from Rochester, New York. Then I went with Buy or Die from Scanner off their Terminal Earth album from 1989. They're a heavy metal band from Gelsenkirchen, Germany. Then I went with End of the Line by Arch Enemy off Anthems of Rebellion for 2003. Basically the same reason I went with The Last in Line. Same thing. Then I had Shot Till You Drop by Torment off of their Tormentation album from 2005. They're a thrash metal band from Hamburg, Germany. Then I went with Into the Pit by Testament off the New Order from 1988. Same reason why I went with Caught in a Mosh. Then, last but not least, I went with 4 a.m. by Avenged Sevenfold off of Diamonds in the Rough from 2020 for the stupid ass time that people get up to go shopping on Black Friday. So, so this was a tough one, and there, as you can see, there were a lot of bands that I discovered in doing research for this, which is always good. It's always good to discover new music. So let's see, I had one, two, three, four. I had 5 songs from new bands I've never heard of before that I added to this list. So that was cool. So
hopefully you can find them on Spotify then.
You can. I made sure that you can.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, one I stayed away from was I thought you would have was Megadeth's "Good Morning Black Friday."
That's exactly the one. That's exactly the one I was thinking of, and I'm just going to type it in now so we add it in. That was the easiest one. So
yeah, I stayed away from it because I thought, oh, he'll definitely have that. So
I did the same thing.
So I went with Black Curtains instead. So,
yep, I did the same thing.
There was another one too, and I can't remember which one it was now. I should have wrote it all down, but just in case you didn't have it. But.
Yeah, but since neither one of us had it, we'll add it in there, and then we'll add Taylor's contribution to it too. So thank you, Taylor, for that. We appreciate it. So, and the cool thing is Taylor, I don't know if you know this, but since you're here listening, when we get the now that we've both given our contributions, I'm going to put the playlist together and send it to Jason. He's going to add his songs in there. If you're a member of the Facebook group, so yeah, Taylor, if you're in there, when I post the playlist into the group, I add it to where that if anyone in the group wants to add a song, they have the ability to do that for 7 days. So Taylor, if there's we'll add your song in there since you sent it, since you mentioned it here in the chat.
The only rule is it has to be
in keeping with that week's theme. Yeah. So anyone who's listening, who's in the group, if there's something that in fitting with the theme, you want to add it, you'll have the ability if you're in the Facebook group. So if you're a member of that group, you'll be able to add a song to the playlist for 7 days. So, which is we do that for the people in the group because it's kind of like a benefit for them of actually being in the group. So
it's more interactive that way.
Right. Yeah. So Taylor, we will add your song, but if you've come up with another one, bud, just you got a whole week to add to that. So our buddy Victor has helped us with additions to the playlist plenty of times. So yeah, that is the only caveat we throw in there, that any addition you make is in keeping with the theme of that week. So that being said, we will get the playlist. Full disclosure, I actually started the playlist already before we even started, because I figured if there's anything I had to take out, it would be easier just to do that, and then I would already have it and I could send it to you quicker. So I actually already started.
I mean, you can always do that, and if we have duplicates, I'll just work around the duplicates. I
mean, what I started doing is I always started just like taking out the duplicates from my part. If we have a duplicate, since I'm actually physically building it, I just kind of like, if we have a duplicate, I just take mine out. I just let you add your list in its entirety. So that way you don't have to worry about working around anything else. So when I send it to you, you don't have to be like, well, do I have to take one out? Or nope, everything's already taken out. You just add everything you've got all in one fell swoop.
Chris, always sacrificing for the show.
I'm a giver. You know what I mean? I'm a giver.
Yeah, you gave me the actual story too. I was like, I had that one too, and he's like, "Well, you take it then." I got
Yeah, so it's no big deal.
which is good because I only had like 3 stories when we talked about that. And I was like,
Yeah, it's
well, I
fine.
was like, yeah, take it out, but you'll be doing all the talking today. Oh man! All right, so one of the best times of the show is getting to know new bands, right? So
That's absolutely right.
that's kind of what the album review session is all about. So here we go. We're into the album reviews. Actually, going to talk about the one that we listened to on the way there that I kind of did the review on and never posted. So I'm just going to go over here from last week, and then I'll do this week's as well. So uh, last week I listened to a band, Miara. They had a new album out called "The Hungering Inside." Uh, they are a band out of Bologna, Italy. So yeah, Oscar Mayer too. So.
That's right.
But they were just formed in 2022, so they are a fairly new band. It says they're melodic death metal. Uh, they
They're
current
not.
no. Well, I don't know. Sometimes you can see it, I guess, or hear it, and then sometimes most of the time you're just like, "There's no fucking way." The reason I'll say this because if you've listened to this album, so when you listen to this album and then you listen to the album I listened to today, they're also melodic death metal. Totally fucking different. Totally fucking different. So,
Well, yeah. So I mean,
because like
just
the band I did for this week is definitely a melodic death metal band. Miara is more thrash or metalcore than anything. I think metalcore more than anything. Anyway, their current members are Francesco Grillo, bassist, Antonio Grillo, guitars. So I guess we got another brother band here going on. So, Andrea Gambini, drums. And you can't have an Italian band without a Gambini, man.
you really can't.
Ruben Sanchez on guitars and Marcus Christopherson on vocals. Like I said, and actually it looks like the brothers did start the band and then added everybody, this year. So they kind of formed it last year, added the other 3 this year, and put an album out. So, and a damn good album at that. So.
Good for them.
This is the band's debut album, 9 songs, 36 minutes, 9 seconds. So not a long listen. So, and like I said, I would say these guys are more metalcore than I would melodic death metal. I think, but me and you both kind of agree to that when we listen to it. But
yeah,
definitely got an In Flames vibe from these guys. So if you're an In Flames fan, you would definitely love these guys. I think so. Everything I think flowed really well instrumentally. Was fast, like we like it, and they did have a 1:42 instrumental on track 6, which was kind of a weird placement, but who knows the idea around that. That's why I like talking to bands and it's like, hey, why would you put a 1:42 instrumental in the middle of the album to give you a break? I don't know. We play so fucking hard, you need a break. So, other than that, man, I don't think you could ask for a better debut. I mean, I absolutely love this album. An easy 4 horns for me. So,
no, I would agree with that after listening to it with you.
And then on to this week's album review. I listened to band. This is going to trip you the hell out when we get into this. Burden of Grief, their album Destination Dystopia. They are a band out of Warburg, Germany, which I think we've actually interviewed somebody from there before. And they are a melodic death metal band from there. They have been around since 1994.
Wow.
So there's another one of these bands we're like never heard of, and they've been around for fucking ever. Jesus, really? But
wow. All right.
Their current members are I hope I can read this. Florian Bauer on bass, Philip Hanfland on guitars, Mike Human on vocals, Manuel Luque on drums, and Dominique Helmuth on guitars. So there you go. And then the drummer and the guitarist are actually newer to the band. They came on in 2021. So this may be the first record for those guys. Nope, I didn't write that down for this. Okay. Guess we won't know. This is the band's 8th studio album. That's why I was just like, man, when I read this, I'm like, 8 albums and I've never heard of these bands. 10 songs, 46 minutes, 6 seconds. Vocals reminded me of Rob Flynn a little bit, but maybe not as clean. A little more of the guttural type Rob Flynn that in some songs remind me a little bit of that, or maybe even Mille Petroza creator a little bit, maybe
Oh,
even
okay.
maybe even some Randy Blythe Lab of God, but definitely in that realm of vocalist there. So, and it I think this album definitely tiptoes across several genres in my opinion, not just melodic death metal. I think you can get some groove metal. You can hear some groove metal in there. Um, maybe even some little bit of black metal riffs every once in a while too. And it's like, wow, that's a little darker than than melodic death metal. But anyway, another thing too is like with when I hear melodic, I think about more cleaner vocals. I guess when I'm hearing the melodic, through in there. So
Sure.
what you didn't get that, but you know, anyway, instrumentally, I think it was mixed perfectly. No one instrument really stood out over another, so that's really good. The drumming was galloping right along with the guitar work. Um, a couple of good little solos in there. I think with this band, like I said, you could ask for some more cleans, but I don't think it would work. Honestly, I don't think cleans would work with the style that they play. Um, so I think it was just perfect. The vocals were perfect for the composition, pretty much. Um, so they've been around for a long time, so obviously they figured it out. I mean, like,
Right.
they got it's our first album. They're working on shit. They've actually, they know what they're doing. So I'm gonna give this one full horns as well, though. I did like this album, even though the vocals were a little bit more guttural sometimes than I'm accustomed to or accustomed to liking, but I still like the albums.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
They're gonna turn me into a death metal fan yet. So.
Good deal. Well, I mean, it's not the worst thing.
No, I'm
Not
just
not the worst thing. All right, my album that I listened to this week. Let's pull this up here. I listened to the new album by Destructor, not Destruction, different band. Blood, Bone, and Fire. And it's weird because it was actually on the list for this week, obviously, because that's why I picked it. But according to Spotify, it actually came out like October 27th. So
yeah.
depending on who you ask, it's been out either a day or a month. So either way, it's new to me. So that's what
The
I went.
easiest way to find out is go to their like page or whatever and see when they posted it up on their socials. I guess.
That's true. That's true. So anyway, um, so I listened to Blood, Bone, and Fire by Destructor. They are a thrash slash heavy slash power metal band formed in Euclid, Ohio, in 1984. I'll get to that in just a second. Their lyrical themes are metal and violence. What the hell else could you ask for? This is their fifth full length album. Their debut album, Maximum Destruction, came out in 1985, and then they had a hiatus until 2007. And
Wow.
the reason why that is, and I looked this up beforehand because I wanted to know why, and I looked it up ahead of time. In 1987, they were working on their follow up EP that was looking like it was going to turn into an LP, and it was supposed to be called Decibel Casualties, and it didn't get released because at the beginning of 1988, one of their original members was stabbed to death.
Oh my god.
So the band decided to not move forward without the bandmate who was killed. So the band got back together, obviously, eventually, years and years later. So their second full length album technically didn't come out until 2007. Then they had an album come out in 2016. So it was another little bit of a hiatus between the second and third. I didn't look into that one because, I mean, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, Decibel Casualties did eventually come out. It came out in 2017 as their fourth full length studio album, leading up to Blood, Bone, and Fire this year. So this band's got a little bit of an interesting history to it. They've been around since 1984, technically, but they
Mm,
had almost a 2 decade hiatus between their first and second albums with the death of with the murder of a bandmate.
right.
Now, speaking of the band, their current lineup, and these stage names are so fucking awesome. You have Matt Flammable on drums. He is the original drummer. You have Dave Overkill on vocals. He's the original vocalist and on guitars. Then you have Tim Hammer and Mark Hellhound. So these freaking
Oh, man.
these stage names are awesome. Now, Tim Hammer and Mark Hellhound obviously aren't original members. Tim came along in 2014. He's the bass player. And then the second guitarist, Mark Hellhound, came around in 2022. Like I said, their fifth studio album. This one is 9 tracks long, 35 minutes and 11 seconds. So this one's a real easy listen to. There is an instrumental at track number 6 called "The Calling," 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Track number 6.
Seems like a
But
proper place to put an instrumental.
right, it was really well done too. What I like about this album, and it's very well done. Thrash metal album. It still has that sound that I'm assuming that they had in 1984 when their debut album came out. To me, it sounds like Manowar mixed with Kill 'Em All and, early Slayer.
Damn.
So it's got a phenomenal sound. And they've kept that. I'm assuming they've kept that sound their entire career. Cause like I say, it sounds like it came out in the 80s, which is awesome, but it doesn't sound like Saint Anger. If you're wondering, it sounds good. So, I mean, everything is real well done. The one thing that I will say, cause you brought it up when you were talking about the, one of your 2 albums, talking about how it was recorded perfectly. The only thing I will say is the vocals are probably turned down a little bit more than they should.
Mm.
It's still easy to follow along, and they're not so muted that it takes away from the enjoyment of the album. But I would have turned the level up on the volume on the vocals a little bit, bring them a little bit more to the forefront. But I mean, the guitars are well done, the drums are well done. I mean, it's an up tempo, in your face, straightforward thrash album, and I enjoyed it. This one's definitely getting 4 horns from me. I would be interested in at some point in the near future to kind of check out some of their other stuff, especially the first album, and see how the sound from that one from 85 translates to now. I would be interested because I am just guessing that that's how the early stuff sounds.
Yeah.
I have a hard time seeing, especially with the 2 original members from back then, I have a hard time believing that the sound deviates too much from the original version of the band. So I plan on finding out. But I mean, for a thrash fan like we are, you throw something with a Manowar and a Kill 'Em All aspect, you throw that shit in a blender and give it to me, I'll be a happy camper all day long. So yeah, 4 horns out of 5 for me on this one. So 4 horns across the board from the Metalheads Unite podcast this week. So
Good stuff this week, man.
Good stuff this week. Yeah, we still need to work on the sound effects. We still need to work on them. I heard it, but they were still slightly muffled. So we still have a little bit of still got a little bit of technical stuff to work out on that end. But I don't, it's working better than they were, because a couple of weeks ago we couldn't get them to come across.
Yeah,
we're progressing in the right direction. Yeah, see, that was actually even a little better than the first time. So
I turned the mic up a little bit. So
yeah, so we're getting there. We're getting there. So
yeah, I think I may have bumped some stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes the album review segment. So looking forward to this coming Friday. Do you want to tell them what we got coming up this Friday? You want to tell them before we get into this?
Nah, we might as well.
Okay, we'll go ahead.
So coming up this Friday, we have another guest that's reappearing on the show. Vinnie Carrion from Ashes Rain is going to be on the show, talk about their new single they just put out a couple weeks ago, The Ferryman, and then they're going to talk about the new album that they're working on and all that good stuff. So can't wait to talk to Vinnie again. Great fucking dude, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ashes Rain. They've been doing a lot of stuff. They've been doing a lot of live streaming on Twitch here lately. Yeah. So they're taking a little bit of a page out of the Matt Heafy book. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
which is never a bad book to take a page out of. So
which I mean, kind of fitting, since they kind of have a trivium sound to them as well.
They do. So, they do.
So it's definitely not a bad thing. And they got the same. And then Matt Heafy used to have the same haircut as Vinny did. So I'm
That's
just fucking with you,
that's
Vinny.
well, I mean, it's kind of true. That's good. So with that being said, we may or may not have time to do like we probably will not be doing our normal show next week if we have a guest, which we usually don't. But I'll go ahead and tell you about the new release list for next week. Because what we'll probably do, we'll probably still do album reviews. We may do write ups like we've done in the past when we have a guest, and post those to the Facebook group. So be able to check that out. And we may or may not try to put a theme of the week together. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. But so for next Friday, December 1st, 2023, the leading into the Christmas season. Leading off, we have Abduction with Toute Blessant la Dernière Two. That's my best attempt at speaking French, so hopefully I did okay.
Oh,
Oh, that was just racist on our part, just doing that just now.
wow.
That was our stereotypical French. Oh. So that's what it was, more stereotypical than racist. But anyway, then we have. Oh my God! Send all complaints to no, never mind. Then we have Abyssal Rift with Extirpation Dirge. We have Abyss of Hell with Into the Abyss. Aggression with Frozen Aggressors. We have Aphilium Eternum with Dark Interstellar Mysteries. Arabs and Aspic with the Magic of Sin. That's a re-release. Oh, Arabs and Aspic actually they have 3 releases. They have the Magic of Sin, Pictures in a Dream, and Victim of Your Father's Agony. We have Axon Star with Chapter 8, Beyondition with Abysmal Night, Binary Order with The Future Belongs to the Mad, Black Roos with Arrival, Bjorko with Heartrot, Buried Shallow with a self-titled EP, Cash Bribe with Escape from New York, that's an EP, Cobra Spell with 666, Code 7 with Go Let It In, The Company Corvette with Little Blue Guy, Cryptosis with The Silent Call, that's an EP, Daemon Grey with Daemonic, Demon Sea with Black Star Gnosis, Demons of Noon with Death Machine, Dethroned with A Bridge to Eternal Darkness, Disorientation with Survival Mode, that's an EP, Dune Pilot with Magnetic, Embrace Your Punishment with Made of Stone, Ensemble 1 with Delay Works. Oh boy. We have Et Dodens Mascaneri with Coulter Krijet. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Extortionist with Devoid, that's an EP. Fate with Ghosts from the Past, that's a re-release. And actually, Fate has 3 re-releases too. Ghost from the Past, If Not for the Devil, and 5 with the Roman numeral V. Mm-hmm. Fierce Justice with Fireborn, Flames of Fire, fitting, with Our Blessed Hope. Gilded Form with a self-titled album. Grau with Absitis Delicts. Hani Abadi with Tiamat. Hatred Reigns with Awaken the Ancients, Heimdall's Vogt with Mystagogy, Hellfro with Talgroth, Immortal Guardian with Unite and Conquer, Into Darkness with Cassini Hygens EP. We have Khanate with a self-titled re-release. They have another one too, Things Viral, that's another re-release. Kong with Traders of Truth, Malicious with Merciless Storm, that's an EP. Mind Control with Elements, Necronemesis with Warfield Forever, that's an EP. We have Ni with Fall Nay. We are the Knights who say Ni. Nornir with Skald. Oldest Sea with A Bird Song, A Ghost. We have Oro with Vid Vox Ande. Panopticon with The Rhyme of Memory. Paradise Lost with Icon 30. Farm with The Tower, that's an EP. We have Reap with Born from Plague. Robin Ford with Night in the City. Ron Coolin and Keith St. John with Here to Stay. Rubber Tea with From a Fading World. Skiltron with Brudarok, Soul Prison with Lucid Nightmare, that's an EP. We have Stillaklong with Tronen der Vergenheit Part 2. Super Pink Moon with Inertia, Swan Song with Awakening, Thunras with Borderline, UFO with a couple of re-releases, California at the Edge, 1995, and Landing in St. Louis Live, 1982. We have Unprocessed with And Everything in Between, Verathron with The Crimson Temple, Visions of Atlantis with A Pirate Symphony, Voice of Ruin with Cold Epiphany, Walking Corpse with Our Hands, Your Throat, and last but not least, Yermo with a self-titled album. So not nearly as long of a list from this past week, but definitely still no shortage of stuff to choose from. So we'll listen to one of those, and like I say, probably do a write-up since we do have Vinny coming back on the show. So
And then we also have another guest coming on the following week as well, but we'll let you guys know about that one next week.
that's right.
Just to make sure we're concreted in before I announce anything.
Yeah.
I usually like to know for sure. I know we had some issues with Eradicated, but it was understandable.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
had something come up and he rescheduled right away. So it wasn't like he was trying to dodge us. So
Mm-hmm.
but you can
Oh
catch
yeah. No, he was super excited to come on the show. So
and you can catch all those interviews over at Spotify if you missed any of those. Eradicated, the first one with Vinny, all that stuff's over there. John O'Connor, one of the last,
Spotify and YouTube, they're there.
Methane, all those guys. Interviews are over there, so check them out. So.
Yes.
Oh, man. So I guess that will wrap this one up. And like I said, we look forward to next week talking to Vinny again. It's a cool guy, real laid back. So should be a fun show. Hear about what they've been up to and what they got coming up. So
yeah. Get to catch up with all the happenings from the Ashes Rain camp. So looking forward to that. So
go follow those guys on their socials too.
Mm-hmm. Follow them and follow us on X. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we will be back on X. We will be more active. The show will be there. The Metalhead Minute will be there. So follow us on X. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Come on over to Facebook and get yourself hooked up with a member request. That's us right there. Follow and then follow us on Twitch and Rumble. Anywhere else? Did I forget anything? I can't remember. MetalheadsUniteUSA@gmail.com is our email address. You see the link for the live radio station down there, stream.trulyradio247.com /8006 /stream. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, heavy metal on the radio. We got you guys hooked up there. Follow us on Spotify for all of the interviews, like Jason said, for his weekly playlist, for the new releases, for all the theme of the week playlists are over there. So, I mean, you've got no shortage of heavy metal to do, thanks to the Metalheads Unite podcast. We try to cover all the bases.
Lots of content.
Try to cover all the bases for you guys. So, MetalheadsUniteUSA.com for all your Metalheads Unite merch. So.
Working on, and I am going to tell you guys, I am working on trying to get a website done. So I'm not sure how long that will take, but hopefully we can transfer a lot of that stuff over to the website. So,
yep, work in progress.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just think it'll be a lot better to put everything in one spot instead of sharing 50,000 things. It's like hey, if you want to see the playlist, go here to the website. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go to the merch store, it's there. It's all it's better to have it all in one spot.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I kind of think so. That'd be a good idea. So
but yeah, I'm just going to work out some details on that. Getting with Truly that does the radio, so she's actually talking to her about that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll work something out there, but we'll see.
So we got.
If not, I have another route in mind too. So it's definitely going to happen at some point.
Yep. So we have some exciting things to look forward to in 2024. In addition to all the albums that are going to be coming out next year, it's going to be bonkers. So, but we're here for it, man. Definitely looking forward to year 4.
I tell you what, my favorite song of the year right now is that new Ghost Inside. Jesus Christ, that's so
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that album, dude.
Yeah.
Is anything like that down track? Jesus Christ.
Look forward to that. But want to thank Taylor for coming on by. Want to thank Octavio for coming by in the chat, and as always, my Aunt Amy for hanging out in the chat with us. We love all of the interaction in the chat. So, Taylor, you're welcome back anytime, of course. So, and your song is already added to the playlist, my friend. So, it's already on there. And like I said, once the playlist is posted for everybody who is in the Facebook group, you can add your songs for up to 7 days. So. We'll get that compiled and posted shortly.
Or your money back.
I don't know. Has anybody paid us?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you get your money back because it's free anyway.
That's right. I was gonna say.
No, we still owed money from some certain people. We won't go there.
Well,
From
that's also true. But
from the platform that shall not be named here. So
yeah, persona non grata now. So, and I'm not
yeah,
talking about the Exodus album. So,
that's right. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Hopefully, you will join us next week for the interview with Vinnie Carrion from Ashes Rain. It's going to be pretty awesome, I think. So, looking forward to that. And tune in for the news coming up for the following week. Make sure we'll get all that concreted in before the end of the week next week to make sure that we have that announcement for you guys. And then we may have some more announcements. You never know. We got a lot of stuff going on, man, here. So it's kind of it's kind of some news could come along any minute for something that we got out there. So
that's right.
That's kind of crazy. So,
yeah, and
yes,
this
I got another line in the water for another interview. Hopefully, before the end of the year, we'll see. So.
Yeah. December is going to be a crazy month. We've basically already got the first two weeks of the month spoken for, and then obviously Christmas is rolling around, and then before you know it, we're going to be doing our year in review show, and then it's going to be boom January before we know it. 3 full years of the Metalheads Unite podcast, in the bag, starting year number 4. It still amazes me that 3 years of this show have gone by already. It's nuts.
Wow, man.
It is wild.
So it doesn't seem like it's been that long because it's so much fun doing it. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like
no
work. So
no, it absolutely does not.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah,
so we'll do a big. I guess we'll do a big birthday special for 3 years. Yeah.
Dana. We hook up with Dana. Dana will probably
do a Metalhead Unite birthday celebration.
Hell yeah! You don't think if we propose that to him, he'd jump all over that shit?
Oh, probably so.
Guarantee you he would.
All right, guys. I want to keep you. It's been a little lengthy because we got almost a few rants and we had a Taylor in there gaslighting us. So I'm just kidding.
Right.
Just kidding, Taylor. I
That's
love you.
True.
But anyway, we appreciate you guys stopping by. Hopefully, we will see you back here next week for the interview. Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you very much.